Yo, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I ain't gonna lie, I almost did not do the stream tonight. Your boy was tired of shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie, but I was like, nah, fuck it. I'm gonna do the stream. I got to for the folks. So we here. I hope everybody's feeling good. I am. My dog is looking at me weirdly. I don't know why. Off camera, of course. But yeah, man. Today's gonna be more of a laid back, not really like I have articles, but it's just gonna be me like skimming through them mostly. So, but mostly just me talking. I'm gonna probably go I'm gonna be honest, anywhere from like an hour to maybe 2. I don't know. Because y'all know when I start talking, time flies. So excuse me. But yeah, some breaking stories happened. Well, just one really, the Elon Musk Twitter thing. So I'm gonna talk about that off the rip. Gonna be talking Joe Biden and his abortion executive order that he is, supposed to sign. I don't know if he signed it yet. We're gonna be talking about some of the protests in Europe. We're gonna scroll through Twitter a little bit because I have some videos bookmarked on there. I have an article for that too. And just my thoughts. I've really been like so annoyed by the culture war lately. Like the culture war is such a fucking distraction. Like the trans argument stuff. Like you got people virtue signaling on both sides. Like conservatives pretend like they don't virtue signal. Like it's ridiculous, bro. Both sides of the culture war are like fucking irking my soul. It's really annoying. I hate both sides. Honestly, I hate the liberals and I hate the conservatives equally. Maybe the liberals a little bit more. I'm not gonna lie, maybe the liberals a little bit more. But still, regardless. And it sucks because I have people around me that are basically liberal, but they call themselves progressives, and it's like you can't like tell behind liberals, bro. It leads like the Democratic Party and the whole liberal sect of everything is nothing but a graveyard for actual like leftists. That's why I keep saying the left is dead here in America. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut up though. That's gonna be the end of the thing I'm gonna talk about. But I guess we'll go ahead and get into this Elon Musk Twitter stuff. That nigga not buying Twitter. You know, I kind of figured he wasn't because he's a clout chaser. Let's be real. Elon is a clout chaser. Um, I was assuming he like after time passed, he kept going back and forth. Well, I don't know if I could do it. Yeah, you got to do. Oh shit, my bad. Come on, DMs open. Oh damn. Like I ain't had no big booty bitches in there. You feel me? You might not even know third. Say no, but yeah, man. Like just this whole concept. Yeah, Rome retweeted me, bro. Hey, and he like my shit. Yo, bro, yo, that's facts. So Rome tweeted out, yo, I hope he watching, but I tweeted out he tweeted out this China that we're gonna be talking about China a little bit today too. I forgot to put it in my notes. But he said, okay, let's say China does have Muslims locked away. Are you Americans going to let them into the U.S.? That's a good point, too. That's a good point, too. Because they talk all this shit, but the only ones they seem to be okay with letting in is fucking blonde-haired, blue-eyed fucking Ukrainians. Those are the only ones they seem to be okay with letting in. And Donald Trump's fucking wife. Those are the only ones they seem to be okay with letting in. Even like the Cubans that basically pass for white, they consider them darkies and they don't want them in here. They bitch about that. Obviously, you know, they complain about Mexicans and Venezuelans and people like that, but yeah. So I found that like funny as shit. He said, funny how some of you were cheering for a ban and jail time for them. Now you saying y'all care about them, or did you just fail or did you just fall for the China bad propaganda the US spoon fed you? And then I said, if the claims were true, the twisted irony is that the United States would still have a larger prison population than them. Shaking motherfucker. And that's facts. Like literally, if the allegations about the Uyghurs in prison and internment camps and all that, if that were true, right? Let's say that were true, hypothetically. Let's say it was true. The United States would still have a larger prison population than China. Think about that. I like to say that shit all the time. Think about that. So all these people screaming China bad, China's an authoritarian. Look at what you're doing to people you claim that are Americans. You know, Republicans, like all through Trump, especially during Trump's the Trump era, and with Clinton and Biden. This isn't me caping or defending Clinton and Biden. They talked all the time. Look what these people did to the black community. Woo, 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 da, da, da. Like they decimated you guys. The crime bill. She called you super predators. Her husband, you know, signed the crime bill into law. Biden wrote it. But y'all like it. Y'all for the same shit. What are you talking about right now? This isn't. It's like a person saying, "Look, I like that horrible shit," but these people claim to not like that horrible shit, and I'm calling out their hypocrisy. But it's like, so you're basically like cheering on that y'all like, or you're touting that y'all both like this horrible shit. Oh, it's crazy, bro. The state of politics in America is complete and utter lunacy because it's a bunch of motherfuckers not saying shit. By the way, Randall Wilson put this comment up. This was way before I was even live. He posted it at 4:51. I was actually on my way home from work at that point. You know, Boris Johnson is a privileged punk. We're gonna be talking about Boris Johnson as well, because working class people can't look like a slouch in public. As for his replacement, just another punk who knows how to play the game. I haven't seen his replacement yet. I guess I'll Google that when we get into that segment of the show. But yeah, even with if the Uyghur stuff were true about China, the United States would still have a larger prison population in them. So I find it astounding that the United States would dare utter its fucking mouth about anything regarding prisons. Like it's like, bro, it's like a fat person calling somebody else fat. It's fucking crazy. And I should know because I'm a fat fuck. But let's see. Oh yeah, Twitter, the Twitter thing. So I was on my I saw it on the Explore page. It was on the trending. It was trending. Yeah, number 3. Breaking. Elon Musk. He says he is terminating his Twitter deal. Oh, it's just a GIF. How is it GIF or GIF? Who knows? I don't know. But let's go ahead and so Elon Musk clinched a deal for Twitter in April, but then put it on hold until the company proved that spam bots accounted for less than 5% of its total users. Twitter shares fell 6% and extended trading after he announced he would terminate the deal. Musk, the richest person in the world, likely faces a protracted legal tussle with Twitter. The terms of the deal require him to pay a $1 billion breakup fee if he does not complete the transaction. Twitter's chairman said that the board planned to pursue legal action. This is from Reuters' Twitter. Um, Twitter's chairman said that the board planned to pursue legal action to enforce the merger agreement, writing that it is committed to closing the transaction on the price and terms agreed upon with Mr. Musk. From Elon Musk deal for Twitter was riddled with problems from the moment he revealed a 9% stake in April. Even though he plans to walk away, the social media company can thank Musk for pointing out some flaws in its business. So yeah, look, you already know how I felt about this Elon thing. If you need a billionaire to save your free speech, I'd argue you never had free speech ever, and you haven't. Go ask Gary Webb. Go ask Julian Assange. Go, go ask Daniel Hill. Go ask Edward Snowden. Go ask any of these people. But unfortunately, because of the culture war, free speech has devolved into, you know, like around like the whole trans argument thing. Like you have a lot of conservatives that scream about free speech when a bunch of pink-haired college kids chase them off a college campus, or what's his face, Jordan Peterson gets kicked off Twitter, but you never see them utter a fucking word about Julian Assange. Not a fucking word. Never hear Jordan Peterson talking about Julian Assange. You never hear any of these guys who scream all day about censorship, talking about Julian Assange. So I don't know, man. I knew this was going to be a thing. I just find it fun. Again, I find it funny that America is so cucked by billionaires. It's sad. It's almost sad because in my opinion, I'm at the point now. I'm at the point now. You get what you fucking deserve when it comes to your politics. If you continue, to vote for this bullshit, get what you fucking deserve. I wholeheartedly feel that way. Like I was talking. Who was I talking to earlier? No, yeah, my homie. I was talking Joshy, the CEO. I was talking to him earlier. Shout out to my guy. I told him, about this Joe Biden abortion thing. I told him, I was like, bro, look, any black person after this, any black person that continues to vote for Joe Biden after this, so let's just walk down the timeline. So I guess we'll go ahead and segue into that segment. I might go back to the Elon thing towards the end of the show, but that was just to wrap up my thoughts on that. That was basically my thoughts on it. I wasn't surprised. Everybody that was cucking themselves out to Elon Musk, it was funny to watch them do it. It was funny to watch them bend themselves in a pretzel while they scream about elites, but then cheer on Elon Musk behind Twitter. It was just funny to see the hypocrisy. Like you could try and use whatever wording you want to use to try and twist it into, like, that's what it is. You're cheering for your sector of the elites. Bonapartism. Go watch Caleb Maupin's video about Bonapartism. I think he's talked about the Musk Twitter thing on his channel as well too. But definitely go watch when he talks about Bonapartism, because I feel like he really broke it down in a way like I've never heard of it before, but the way he broke it down like really like put me on. And then when I read, I went and read, I'm still reading it, but the 18th Brumaire by Marx of Louis Bonaparte. And I'm just reading about Bonapartism. It's really playing out in our faces right now. The different factions of the ruling elite that want to take the world order, well, at least the Western world order, and different directions and shit like that. But regardless, it's just funny to see again, especially Americans cucked by billionaires. They follow whichever billionaire like whispers sweet nothings in there, like, come here, boy, I'm gonna take all your freedoms. Like, I don't know what like, I thought we were supposed to be fighting elites, not cheering for the elites that we like, that say things that we like. Because at the end of the day, Elon Musk isn't a conservative. Remember, he's shipping his employees overseas across state lines to get abortions. So he went down to Texas. So Elon Musk is literally the guy that Texans say, don't bring your liberal values down here. Well, that's literally what Elon Musk is doing, and they're not saying shit about it. Notice they're not saying shit. Notice they're not saying but that's because money. No, that's how they are. They're beta cuck bitches. I'm telling you, conservatives, whenever it comes to billionaires and shit like that, a billionaire will say, yo, suck my dick. A conservative will say, how long and how hard? Dead ass. That goes for the libertarians double. And that's not, I'm just kicking the truth about them niggas. That's not me saying I wouldn't work with a conservative, or like a libertarian on civil liberties issues, or even if they're for things like Medicare for all. Because I've talked to libertarians that are, and have seen libertarian people that claim to be libertarians, talk about the need for things like Medicare for all, or free college, things like that. So I don't know how that works, but hey, they're willing to fight for it. Cool. But I'm just keeping it a bean on here, like watching how this shit's going down, because they were the main crowd cheering this shit on. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and move into this Biden situation, because this is literally why I keep telling black people to stop voting for the Democratic Party. This is why I keep telling them to stop. So let's walk through this real quick, just a quick unpacking. When Joe Biden went on the Breakfast Club and said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black, everybody, obviously it was a soundbite. Conservatives were using it. The Trump campaign team was using it. Everybody was talking about it. It was a good soundbite. Charlamagne's good at getting those soundbites out of people. Like, remember, he infamously got that "I keep hot sauce in my bag," or what is it? Whatever. Or soundbite. He got that soundbite from Hillary Clinton in 2016 that like literally turned black people off from her. It was like, yeah, this bitch, fuck her. Talking about hot sauce in her bag. Fuck you. But so he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Then after he won, he brought all those niggas in there, them black leaders, the black political leaders, the preachers, all the niggas that went out there and caped for him to get him elected, to get black people to go vote for him, which black people were the ones that put him in fucking office, and basically said, shut the fuck up. I'm not signing no executive orders. You're going to shut the fuck up. You're going to go down to Georgia and you're going to help Raphael Warnock and the fucking Jewish guy get elected. Osmond, I think his name is Osmond, whatever. I don't know what his name. I forgot what his name is. You're going to go down there and get them niggas elected, and then you're going to shut the fuck up and leave me alone. I'm not signing no executive orders for you. Fuck off. That's basically what he said. That was the tone he used, at least. To now, when you get a bunch of white women liberals outraged over Roe v. Wade, you see how quick he could flick that pen, right? And look, I think that student loan debt forgiveness, while it is a good thing, I think if them white women liberals were outraged about that, like they were about abortion, he probably would have flicked his pen for that too. Let's be real, because he flicked that shit quick, bro. That was quick. He with the quickness, and it's crazy because he told y'all niggas, no, not for you. Bye, get out of here, fuck out of here. But for them, when it's them and their shit, after again, voting for these niggas and getting like they use Roe v. Wade as a platform to run off of. They don't actually give a fuck about that shit. So they went out and gave them what they wanted. This is why I keep telling especially black people, stop voting for the Democratic Party. I'm not telling you to vote Republican. If you want to, have at it. I'm at the point. You're not beating Raytheon. You're not beating Goldman Sachs. You're not beating Pfizer. So go ahead, have at it. Because you're just going to get Donald Trump that's going to come in and tell you that, oh, I made the vaccine, so I'm going to fucking mandate you now. Like, Donald Trump is probably going to be pro mandates because he's going to brag about me making the vaccine. That's another thing too. Trump supporters like to pretend that Trump hasn't been doing that. Like that Candace Owens interview was like so indicative of that. Like she laid up this whole question to set him up to be like, yeah, the mandates are horrible and terrible. Fuck the vaccine, da da da. And he did the complete opposite. And she was like, so trans people, because she was not expecting him to basically sound like a fucking shit lib when it came to the vaccine. And she had to recover. Like, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. So what about trans people, right? They're annoying. Like, that's literally what Candace Owens did. And it was funny to see. It was so funny to see. The only good part of that interview was when she pressed him about Julian Assange. That was the only good part about that interview. For real, for real. But yeah, so go ahead, have at it. If you want to vote Republican, go ahead. Black people, if you want to. You're going to get the same thing, except they're just going to tell you to fuck off, darky. They're literally going to tell you to your face. Whereas Democrats are going to say, all right, now, like, we got your vote. Now, just go away, please. We don't want to help you. Oh, look, we're wearing kente cloth at least, right? Like, that's what Democrats do. Republicans are like, look, we don't like that, but fuck off, darky. We're not giving you shit. Oh, except the gun. You can have a gun, all right? Maybe. Actually, you can't even have that. Look what they did to Philando Castile. Well, you see how well he looked menacing, right? Like, you can't even have that. So you're not, but yeah, but like I was saying, you know, you go vote Republican, it's going to be the same effect. You're not voting against Raytheon, Goldman Sachs, or Pfizer. That's just a fact. Electoralism is not the solution, people, and Joe Biden is proving that. Because again, when it comes to issues like this, I'm like, now imagine if we put that pressure on him for healthcare. Imagine. Matter of fact, let me pull this CNN article up. Because people, you know, I was watching RBN this week. I've been watching RBN, you know, way more recently. But and they were talking about the Sam Cedar crowd and how they like to call people like me and them and Jimmy Dore, all these people dumb leftists and shit like that. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this article up. I gotta find it. I gotta stop sharing my screen. That's why. Where's it at? Here we go. So we got this CNN article. I'm gonna go in with what's in. I'll read that article in a minute. Oh, it was the Politico one. Biden signs abortion rights executive order amid pressure. The order directs the Department of Health and Human Services to take new actions to protect access to abortion medication. And so this is the same thing as that Asian hate crime bill, which look, I'm not against it, but it's like black people have been terrorized in this country forever since the inception of this fucking country. And like we're just now getting an anti-lynching bill. Just now, huh? Now, when they do the hate crime things, it's never specific toward. So you see how they always specify it when it's other races but black. And look, I'm not trying to make it about race. I'm just making a fucking observation. I'm just keeping it a bean. This is how black people feel, especially working class black people. Like this is how I feel. I'm black. Oh, this is how I feel. This is how my homies feel. You know, this is how different people I talk to feel. And regardless, like some of them are, you know, more liberal, some of them are more conservative, some of them are just fucking apolitical. Like I just go to work, but I just watched a nigga that looks like me get riddled with 60 fucking bullets. Oh, these niggas shot a higher field goal percentage than fucking than fucking LeBron James, bruh. They went 70% on this nigga. They fired 90 bullets, hit him 60 times. Some basketball players that don't get that. And I'm not trying to make a joke out of it. I'm keeping it real. But this is how a lot of black people feel. So whenever it comes, you know, it took that long to get a specific bill for black people. But then like whenever it's like hate crime laws or anything like that, it's always like, oh, this is a universal thing. Like black people are always supposed to be universal when it comes to their, like, I won't be surprised if Democrats ever, like, let's say hypothetically Democrats ever talk about reparations. It's going to be like, well, let's make it universal with this group of people or that group of people. Nah, yo, fuck out of here with that. Nah, did y'all make it universal for the Japanese when they got theirs? Oh, fuck you. No, nigga. So, and again, because a lot of people get triggered and butthurt whenever black people talk about black issues, but I don't give a shit. I'm keeping it real. And this is a fact. This is how black people feel. But regardless, let's continue. President Joe Biden signed an executive order Friday morning directing his health department to expand access to abortion pills, beef up enforcement of Obamacare's birth control coverage mandate, and stand up an army of pro bono lawyers to help defend people criminally charged for seeking or providing the procedure. Where's a bill that, like, I don't know, get like, can we get a bill for like families whose kids get shot by cops to get a fucking free lawyer? Can black people get that? Like, for real? Can we get that? Can we at least get the cop not, he just killed somebody to not get basically a fucking paid vacation for killing somebody? Can't get that though. But okay. Okay. The order also instructs the administration to consider, so I don't really even need to read the CNN part, but regardless. The order also instructs the administration to consider several additional actions to shore up privacy rights for patients using digital apps such as period tracker. The order also to consider several additional actions to shore up privacy rights. So again, to the my body, my choice crowd, when it comes to abortion, this is what people were telling you when it came to the vaccine mandates, how they're collecting and harvesting data, and how you're cheering for it now because you don't like anti-vaxxers, but how it's going to come back and fuck you and screw you over. Congratulations, you played yourself. It's people like me, people like Franco, people like Convo Couch, Slow News Day over there, all the motherfuckers, and Whitney Webb especially. Whitney Webb was talking about this before COVID was even happening. I remember she was talking about this on Graham Elwood show in like 2019, and Graham was just laughing her off, and you see where Graham's at now. Full on fucking authoritarian psychopath. But I remember Whitney Webb talking about this shit back in 2019. So the My Body, My Choice crowd, y'all really need to stand on them principles. And same thing on the other side, on the flip side, the anti-mandate people. Keep it a bean. Y'all don't keep it a bean. Y'all flip-flopping like Romney out there. Where am I at? Sure, such as period trackers and those who are now at risk of being reported to law enforcement by a medical provider. They will also consider strengthening protections for doctors performing abortions and medical emergencies by updating the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, and plan to create another interagency task force that includes Attorney General. So you see how they're moving heaven and earth for basically these white women, these white liberal women. Oh, you see how that fucking works? You see how that works? And look at this. Biden signs abortion rights executive order amid pressure. So again, to the people out there saying, basically preaching for incrementalism, like Kyle Kalinske, Sam Cedar, TYT, all those fuckheads, Humanist Report, all of those guys. This sounds like forced to vote to me, kind of pressure, like which is the bare bones of it. The skeleton of forced to vote was pressuring politicians. And this is me, somebody who doesn't even believe in electoralism. I understand the basics of electoralism more than those guys do. And that's the crazy part. I remember I was watching Nick, I think it was Nick Rome and somebody else. Nick was like, yo, we got college dropouts in RBN. We got high school dropouts in RBN, and we'll do better political coverage than Sam Cedar or fucking anybody. And that's facts over there at RBN. But it's like, I like to make the joke that, nigga, I'm doing this in my basement right now. Just getting off, well, not just getting off work, but getting off work. And I know this and understand this more than they do. That's sad. That's really sad. But continuing, Biden had already asked the administration to explain many of these steps, while others remain vague on their exact mechanisms. The president stressed Friday that none of them would fully restore abortion rights to the tens of millions of people who recently lost them. And the solution is at the ballot box in this November's midterm. So there you go. Go vote Democrat, you fuckers. We already lost your abortion rights for you, but go vote Democrat. So again, I just find it interesting. Like this is why you don't tell behind liberals, because here you have them. They're only passing policies that are based on identity and woke bullshit. And I hate using that term woke. Y'all know I hate using that term woke because I feel like white people have bastardized that shit. White liberal people have bastardized the term woke, and conservatives have taken it and ran with it and used it as a negative connotation. But it is what it is. I have to learn to live with that. it sucks because woke used to be a good. That's why I was like, when I first learned of the culture war, which is after I got into politics, honestly, because I never paid attention to the culture war. Like once I learned about Medicare for all, which is like literally the intro, to my thing. I used to be a Kalinske guy. I used to watch Kyle Kalinske, but hearing him talk about Medicare for all, I never talked about the culture war. Never got into the culture war, and I never paid attention to it, honestly. But like, I was so confused because I saw people using the term woke in a negative connotation. I'm like, what are you talking about? Woke is a good thing. But then I saw how, again, it has been bastardized by liberal white people and how conservatives have taken it and ran with it. And it sucks because, woke in the black community and especially in hip hop was a good thing. That was always seen as a good thing to be woke. So it sucks. Again, it sucks, but I guess I just got to learn to live with it, I guess. It's just a personal gripe because it like kind of hurts when I hear people say it because, again, me being a rap historian, a hip hop historian and everything. Like I said, it used to be seen as a good thing, but now, unfortunately, white people took it and made it bad. Let me take a quick 5-minute break, guys. This stream may actually be shorter because I'm just rocketing through these topics right now. Let me take a break real quick, and I will be right back. I gotta go use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. I am back. I'm actually about to have a guest on. My guy Joshy, the CEO, is going to be popping on in a second. So I'm going to give him a minute to come on and hop in. Yeah, man. I'm rocking into these topics. Maybe I should slow down a little bit. I feel like I'm going a little fast. You going? Slow down. I just want to get to know you. Yo, yo.
Yeah, now you need to cut that shit out.
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down
I
and
just
think.
want to
Don't
get
do that.
to know
Stop it.
I don't even know the lyrics. You hear me down now.
Yup. See, that's why you need to stop. You over there fucking a good song. That's a good song right there.
Somebody said yo or slow down. I said slow down.
Nah, slow down.
but versus yo, excuse me, miss.
Ooh, yo.
I hate you, bro. Everybody
Bro,
keeps saying that.
yo is gonna blow that jar out the water.
It's something about slow down though, dog. I don't even know the lyrics, but it's the beat. I like the beat. Like I feel like yo, excuse me, miss is iconic, but like
Bro, the
in terms of
video's
personal
iconic.
taste,
The song's iconic.
yeah, everything about that joint is iconic. But we are here to not talk about my music proclivities. We are here to talk about the political instability in Europe, bro. I wish I could play it right now, but I ain't trying to get copyrighted. But another one bites the dust. So,
One thing that I like about everything that's going on in Europe and with the protest and stuff is like when you have your citizens revolting and really standing on how they feel, you're going to get a good result. And I hope, especially U.S. and other countries and surrounding territories, take necessary notes because it's necessary. I feel like more of that needs to be happening. I didn't mean to cut you off or anything, but I've been really looking deep into it since we both talked about it yesterday, and it's necessary because, like you said, you have certain countries that they're trying to pass all of these global climate changing laws and these economic policies that they try to make the grand scheme of things. Oh, it's good for the people for XYZ when we all know that the people are going to get fucked on the back end. If anybody is out there listening, Europe, all of those, keep fighting the good fight. As John Lewis said.
Like, look at this shit. Breaking. Dutch farmer breaks in a Dutch Air Force base and takes fighter jet to protest government tyranny. Look at this shit.
And they not going to fuck with him. And if they do take the plane from him, they gonna let him go. Like my thing is, when you do things like that, like John, like the great Senator John Lewis said, Congressman John Lewis said, you got to get into good trouble, and that's a true statement.
Here's Sri Lanka. This isn't Europe, but this is Sri Lanka.
Wow.
They're like just randomly running up on rich people, wealthy people, randomly. So we're actually going to get into Sri Lanka. Well, not necessarily Sri Lanka, but China more so, because you have a lot of people, especially here in the West, and especially like the liberal and conservative, orders of the elite class. They're basically trying to push this narrative that the reason why Sri Lanka is poor is because China built a port there and they like basically like collapsed them into debt. I think I'm going to do this debt trap myth, that they talk about China, because that's exactly what it is. It's a myth, but most of their debt, the actual debt that's hurting the country, is from the West. Like the debt and the debt it has of China is very small compared to the debt it has with the West. The reason why the West gives these poor countries like Sri Lanka loans is so they can control them politically, basically. So it's literally projection. This is literally what they accuse China of doing, is literally what the West does. So that's just a little context of what's going on in Sri Lanka. But here's what the caption says: Sri Lanka has completely collapsed. Angry crowds are now chasing and killing wealthy people as food and energy shortages hit. Over 200 dead so far. Police use live rounds. State of anarchy on one side, police state on the other. I think we might get a taste of that here in the States. People think it can't ever happen here. I'm trying to find it.
Good trouble. And if anybody out there listening, get into good trouble. Shit, we getting into good trouble about being on American Autopsy.
Yeah, is this one? Yep, Dutch citizens and farmers at Leeuwarden police station to bring home the underage boy whom Mark Roots police shot and then arrested last night. The majority of Dutch support the farmers' protest. And this is done outside of the police station.
They packed out there. Oh, they're not playing games.
Yeah, so this is a similar thing that the French did during the Yellow Vest protest. So in France, like this is like right before COVID, Macron was trying, and his government was trying to push through a gas tax basically on the people. for like climate issues, same type of thing. And the people were not having that shit. You had the city people that lived in the city that was like, nah, fuck that. They got out in the streets in their yellow vests. That's why it was called that, protest. But then the farmers came out from the countryside and they literally started throwing manure at basically the French equivalent of the White House. And at different government buildings. And that's what they're doing here as well. You see a black dude there. That's a black dude right there, right? You see where my mouse is?
Zoom in. Well, dang, you already got it.
I can't. Yeah.
Play it back, run it back, and then let it play. He looked black. Nah, I don't think he was black.
Nah, he white. I'm tripping. I need my glasses. But regardless, the reason why I brought up the race, and I'm not trying to play the black, he's black. So they try to say like a lot of these protests are inherently right wing and the people are racist. So when the Canadian truckers did their protest, because one person had like a swastika flag or some shit like that, and another person had a Confederate flag, I believe. Like those two people officially became emblematic of the whole movement of all of these like mixed race people there. Like one of the Chris H guy that came on the podcast that one night, he's from Canada. He was telling me about how horrible the fucking lockdowns were there. He was like, I have firsthand account on how bad the COVID measures Canada enforced on its people was bad and how bad it was. So they tried to basically, a lot of leftists, especially like in not necessarily, well, kind of in my space, they were trying to just mark it up as like, oh, they're racist, and then they started using these Marxist terms like they're petty bourgeoisie. So basically they thought like since these people were like small business owners, they're the same as like Amazon or Walmart or some shit or close to it because whatever fucking reason they came up with, when these are actual fucking workers. Like these are people that I think we were talking about something along the lines of this the other night. But just because a business owner is a business owner doesn't mean they're not also a fucking worker as well, because they're working their business. A lot of people still they actually put in more hours in their business. That's why I feel like a lot of small business owners don't fuck with leftists, because leftists have this like nonchalant attitude about them because they think they're just trying to exploit and take advantage of everybody when they're in the same situation as everybody else, except they're at more risk of losing everything, as an employee. Obviously, if you lose your job, you lose your health insurance and all that shit. But like as a small business owner, you lose like your business, you go into debt, all types of shit. They start taking your shit if you're a business. So like, they're kind of in the same boat as us, but these are farmers as well too. And like, last time I checked, the Soviet Union, the official symbol of communism is the hammer and sickle, like the sickle for farmers. Like, so it's so weird, bro. It's so weird. But yeah. I have an article queued up too. Let me go ahead and share that. Let me find it.
And a lot of people and it's crazy. It's funny how you say a lot of the farmers have been protesting. That goes back to what we were talking about on one of your shows the last show that I was on, with how they were trying to create that central bank that's backed by, natural resources. So people take notes. Take notes.
And I was reading through this article. I'm not necessarily going to read through all of it, but this was kind of that. They were talking about how these, like, actually, I'll go ahead and read through a little bit of it. This shit is small, so I'm going to have to zoom in, actually. Tractors on the highways burning hay bales and slurry in the street at the home of the responsible minister. The map with which she wanted to outline how much nitrogen reduction is needed, where has mobilized many farmers in our country. On one hand, the bourgeoisie is shocked by the form that the protest is taking, and on the other hand, it shows understanding for the unrest. If you hear and read the different sounds and interviews of these angry farmers, you can conclude the following. With this shrinkage scenario, they see their survival threatened, and sometimes that of their children because of their personal connection with their company. According to some spokespersons, the Peasant Republic is at war with the state of the Netherlands. They want to get rid of incomprehensible theories, complicated administration, and the interference of the political elite. in their business operations. But above all, they also want respect and recognition for the fact that they provide the food supply, have kept up with technical innovations, and contribute to the growth of the economy instead of being regarded as irresponsible global warmers. I think that first paragraph sums it up a lot, but that's kind of like so just going off of that, right? Like again, these are the people that are growing your food for one. So I definitely feel them there. I'm not like these people grow your food, especially in Europe. But then on the other hand, like you're talking about you have this economic war that Europe, especially Europe, is paying most of the brunt of it. This economic war, failed economic war, they're raging against Russia or waging against Russia, and it's affecting farmers because most of the fertilizer and wheat and things like that comes from Russia. Things you need for farming comes from Russia, and then now you're going to slap on this like nitrogen thing to where you can't, like, basically you're limiting their capability to actually farm, which is essentially forcing them out, and in some cases even shutting these people down. Now I was watching Jimmy Dore the other day. That's a political commentator, Josh, in case you don't know. The people watching know, but just in case you didn't, he was talking about he feels this is like a way for them to push out the small people so the big mega corporation can come in, basically. You feel me? What's your thoughts on
Almost
that?
there. I 100% agree. That's 100% agree. I feel like that is a scheme. Well, not a good scheme, but I definitely do feel like that's a scheme for big companies to weed their way in for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, it's so weird because like anytime people are rising up against the elite class, I feel like we should be supportive of that because you don't have that. Like the only time, the leftists, rise up against the establishment and elite class here is when it's for fucking abortion. And they, even when they get a fucking executive order, it's a hollow one. We'll actually talk about that because I want to get your opinion on that. I was going in on these fucking white liberals earlier, but we'll go back and talk about that. But overall, just my closing thoughts on this segment. I think that unfortunately we're going to see the same story that we saw with the Canadian truckers. They're going to be calling these people petty bourgeois. They're going to be calling them racist. They're going to be calling them all types of shit. And some of them might have more right wing views, more conservative. They want libertarianism, less government, which I try to explain to my libertarian people that less government is just going to give you the potent corporate dildo that's going to fuck you instead of the government dildo that's going to fuck you. Either way, you're getting fucked. So I don't, I don't know what they think is going to happen when the government goes away. And honestly, but on some notes, like, because whenever you talk about this, people think you're denying climate change, right? Nobody's denying climate change. But on that same token, like, are we going to force people to start? Not even just in the West, the global South. This is going to affect the global South even more. We're already going to have food supply shortages because of the war in Ukraine and Russia and what's going on there. And now you want to add on top of that closing down like, are you fucking insane? Same thing with the oil. Like, I'm not a fan of fracking and more drilling and shit like that. Trust me, I'm not. I mean, look at all of the poison, drinking water across the country, things like that. But at the same time, everything runs on fossil fuels. Like, you can't just stop tomorrow and build wind turbines and think everything's going to be fine. Like, you're fucking insane if you think that. And I've completely changed my stance on that, Josh. Like, I used to be full stop Green New Deal. We need to get rid of fossil fuels, get rid of pipelines. And it's like, look, I still think those things are bad. I still think the pipelines are bad. I don't think fossil fuels are exact. It will take decades to move to all electric. But again, you can't just stop though. That's the point I was just about to make. You can't just cut it and expect everything to function normally. That's why Germany, Russia basically, they're arguing over the gas over there because, like, from Russia's perspective, why should, like, even let's say hypothetically tomorrow Europe and the US were to lift sanctions and everything resumed and went back to normal operations and shit, why should Russia sell y'all gas so y'all can then run your economies and fund a government that's killing their people? You feel
Ass
that, right?
backwards. It's ass backwards.
Like, and Putin basically, I was listening to this one guy on the morning show I listened to earlier on Fault Lines. Shouts out to Manila Chan. She actually followed me on Twitter not too long ago. I fucking love her. She's amazing. But Thomas was talking to somebody. I forgot what the guy's name was, but he was like, no, it was Garland Nixon. I was watching this guy Garland Nixon show. He's a black dude. I'll actually send you his channel, Josh. I think you'd like him. But
Sure.
he was saying that Russia right now has the EU in a chokehold, right? Or has them in a handlock to where they can't do anything really without breaking their own fucking arm. His argument was, why should Russia let them out of the hold as long as they promise to, to not try and attack them again? But then you start like, they're going to come back and try to stab you again with a knife. So why go through this whole thing, again, 10 years later? Because like what they're arguing for is complete and utter domination of Russia. Right. They want to balkanize Russia and be able to control, whatever entrance to the markets in terms of oil, gas, and things like that, because they're major exporters. So Russia's like, fuck it, we're just going to pivot to China and sell our shit to China and the rest of the global South countries. Fuck y'all. We don't need y'all. That's basically what they're saying to Europe right now. The United States could be energy independent like Russia if it wanted to, but unfortunately, I've read multiple things. Like, we basically use more than we produce, which is why we still have to import basically. Now, I've heard arguments where people said like we need to be upping production and refinery and things like that, which I'm like, okay, cool. And that conversation also comes with lifting the regulations, surrounding refinery. I don't know how I feel about that, because whenever regulations get lifted on them, it ends with fucking drinking waters getting poisoned. It ends with environments being poisoned. And I'm not like a fucking tree hugger. I'm saying, yo, we have to live here too. So that's where I'm at. And look, Jeremiah Matthew the Great, he was just commenting. He said, I live close to work and ride an e-bike. I feel you, bro. If I lived that close to work, I would ride my bike as well. Unfortunately, I don't. I have to drive to work. And I think we have to be realistic with what Americans are experiencing right now. And let's be real. Most of the pollution, all this shit, is coming from big corporations. Like, going back to the Dutch farmers and the European farmers, like, those farmers are not to blame for global warming and climate change. It's the factory farms that are. Like, we know this. This is data. So why are we supporting policies that are actively going after the working class? Why are we, supporting policies that's going after small farm owners? I really I get it. I get why they're doing it, because they're trying to force them out and expand the big companies. But like, these leftists don't get that. So you have any closing thoughts on that though, bro, before we move on?
No, I feel like as you mentioned, it's completely ass backwards. Why would you assist a company? I said not a company, excuse me, a country that's just pretty much going to backdoor you. Exactly. And as far as when it comes to climate change, as shout out to Jeremiah, as he said, it will take decades to move all of those electric and to get those things in place. So I don't even know why some of these foreign countries are trying to pass these out of control climate change laws and regulations, when instead of trying to do it in a stepping stone matter, because it's going to take decades upon decades for that to 100% even go into effect. So I feel like it's just another way that they're trying to take things that are necessities and turn it into capitalism. My personal opinion.
And in my opinion, we need to be focused on nuclear, and specifically, trying like making breakthroughs in thorium. Like, thorium has, they're like, we need to be investing in that, and nuclear and thorium, also nuclear fusion as well, which China is heavily investing in. Like, whoever cracks the code to nuclear fusion are the people who's going to basically run the world. And I think it's going to be not. I was about to say, unfortunately, it's not. Unfortunately, I trust China more with it than I trust the United States. Like, let's get this straight. I don't trust governments inherently, but there are governments that I trust far less than others. And I trust our government far less than I trust China. I trust China's government more than I trust the United States' government. But that being said, I don't trust governments at all, because governments are governments. That's just the fact of the matter. But yeah, exactly. I think Jeremiah Matthew the Great said, yeah, that's what I'm talking. Exactly. That's what I'm saying too. Like, we need, like, I feel like when we have these conversations and debates, especially on Twitter, I feel like Twitter is a bad space to be having these debates. We should be either having these in person, or I talk about it all the time. Talk about it at the stream before. A lot of these like talking heads on there that talks, like, all y'all niggas have shows. Go on each other's shows and debate each other and talk about each other and talk about these difference of opinions and ideas you have, because at the end of the day, we're all here. If we're supposed to all be here to truly inform people. I'll say that we're supposed to be here to inform people, because a lot of these niggas on here, I'm gonna just be straight up, they're fucking clout chasing social media influencers. That's straight up what a lot of these niggas are on here. So we're supposed to be informing people, and at the end of the day, iron sharpens iron, bro. Iron sharpens iron. That's a fact. Like, y'all niggas have shows. Go on each other's shows. So yeah, but the way we have these conversations about this is always in a black or white manner. And then of course you can't have these conversations with like the neo progressives and liberals and shit like that, because they're gone. They're too far gone. I don't know about that, Jeremiah. I don't know about that, because, you know, I trust a government that's actually like lifting its people out of poverty way more than I do the United States. Like, you have one country that's lifting its people out of poverty, and you have another country that's like pushing its people into poverty. You have one country that is, you know, going into countries and building them up, and you have another country that's going in and actively destroying them. So I'm saying, like, again, I don't trust governments, but again, I see China as more of a net positive than the United States in terms of, you know, the global order and world order of things. And again, this goes back to what I talk about all the time. Like, Jeremiah, I don't know if you're a socialist or not, or a communist. Those labels don't really matter here in the West. But in terms of speaking about China and actual, you know, and other different countries that are actually socialist, like, you know, we talk about all the time, socialists and these progressives here in America talk all the time about how they want like socialism here in the States and shit, like, and they talk about this grand idea of socialism, but it's all in their fucking heads, and really it's just identity politics. You know, is like their socialism is all based on identity. Whereas when you look at countries like Venezuela, when you look at countries like Cuba, when you look at countries like China, you know, when you look at all of these different Burkina Faso, all of these success stories when it came to communist and socialist countries that were under the boot of imperialism on top of that. I'm like, imagine if the boot of imperialism wasn't there. And that, I feel like that in terms of that, like, you have to understand that when you're a country, like, we're blessed here in the United States, like our version of freedom is different than somebody in China's who had to suffer like 100 years of being ruled by a foreign power. And now that foreign power is coming back, trying to put the boot on their neck again. So it's like we have the pleasure of having bitch ass neighbors, is basically the point I'm trying to make. We got two bitch ass neighbors. We got Canada and we got Mexico. No disrespect to Mexico. Fuck Canada though. But we have the pleasure, we have the privilege of having two bitch ass neighbors. You have countries over there like Russia, China, all of these different countries, you know, Venezuela. They have hostile fucking countries that are not even just trying to infiltrate, actively trying to overthrow their governments. Nicolas Maduro had like 2 assassination attempts on his life. And like, again, the person who was like trying to stage a coup in his country, he's allowed to walk around free. So I don't know what dictator allows the person who tried to murder him to walk around free on the streets now. I don't know what dictator allows that, but apparently Maduro's a dictator when he does that. But regardless, you know, in terms of governments and shit like that, like I said, I trust no governments, but I trust one far less than I do the other. So, but let's move into these prime ministers, bro. So going in along with that whole farmer thing and all those protests going on, there's actually I couldn't find the footage that I saved of it. Yeah, he was like a bus driver. Like, I remember I've seen old videos of him like literally in the streets in the upright. Josh, do you know who Maduro is?
Heard of him, but not
Nicolas
too much.
Maduro. He's the president of Venezuela. You know who Chavez is, right?
Say that one more time.
Chavez. He was the former president of Venezuela.
Yes, I've heard of him. Yeah,
Hugo Chavez. Yeah, he, like, Chavez was famous because he was like he was a real nigga. Chavez was a real nigga. He also called out Barack Obama. I'm not gonna be able to find a video now, but I'm gonna find it and we're gonna react to that shit like one stream. He was shitting on Obama back in the day. Like, this was like 2008. Obama at his most popular. Chavez was shitting on that nigga. But Maduro was the guy that took over after when Chavez passed away, unfortunately. But there's literally old video footage of him during the protests and things like that, out on the streets, like giving speeches and shit. Like, he was a worker. He was a random nigga on the street that believed in the movement and was out there protesting with niggas, and he rose in the ranks after Chavez took power and things like that. And the socialist government took power. But yo, what's your thoughts on these prime ministers dropping like flies, dog, over in Europe?
I feel like I said, what needs to be done here. I feel like a lot of the citizens are revolting, and a lot of these presidents can't, prime ministers, presidents, whatever you want to call them, can't take the heat. And as you know, as the old saying goes, if you can't take the heat, get the fuck out the kitchen. And that's exactly what they're doing. And back to what we were just talking about with all the protests going on in these European countries, that's a prime example when the citizens have enough of the bullshit and they take their power back. And I feel like when
There's
a lot of those,
protests in Italy too, a bunch of taxi drivers and
and I
farmers.
feel like when a lot of these protests happen, and not only that, you got to think all of these people that are protesting are necessities that needs to run these countries. You just said taxi drivers, that's a form of transportation. Farmers, that's agriculture, which is very important. So when you have, just like how over here everybody was like, oh, from July 3rd to the 5th, we going to stop buying gas. Y'all bitch asses didn't stop buying gas. And even if y'all did stop buying gas, let me just dig into this a little bit, bro, if you don't mind. Like, these people protesting right now, right? I can highly guarantee they do not have an end goal in regards to when they want to stop protesting. They're going to continue to protest until more things happen and more people in these high powers stand down. Meanwhile, bitch ass United States of fucking America, they want to sit here and say, "Oh, we're not going to buy gas for 3 to 5 days." What's going to happen on that 6th day? You going to start buying gas again?
I think
Like it,
I think the only way, like our version of that, would just be everybody staying home and not going to work. But I don't know if you could be able to organize that because
That's
as
what I'm
somebody,
saying.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like with you just saying that, that right there proves the point of by these citizens revolting and really standing their ground. It's like, yo, y'all want to sit here and not listen to our demands and listen to how we feel. We're gonna fuck up your system economically,
mhm.
agriculture, all of the things that requires the country to run, regardless whether people like it or not. And it's
And then
hitting
they
them
have
where.
more solidarity there too. I'll say that
Thank
too.
you. People
Because
stick together.
we got deep divisions here. Because you got to realize, like, a lot of those countries are predominantly, you know, a certain race, like either white or whatever, you know, their ethnic group is. Here you got white people, you got mixed people, you got people that are mixed race, they got multiple mixed races. Like, you have a lot of
Uh-huh.
deep divides here in the United States. You have a lot of, like, the class issue is exacerbated here, in my opinion. As soon as you get somebody from like the lower middle class, they get a taste of the upper middle class, all of a sudden they go from, oh, you know, it's hard for me to get like they understand the struggles of the working class people, but they get a taste of that upper
Yep.
class life. Then all of a sudden, oh, people don't want to work now. Like, that's something I hear all the time. People don't want to work. Nah, nigga, I don't want to work for nothing. I don't want to work 40 hours and still not have shit
That's
by
a
the end
fact.
of the week. But go ahead. I ain't mean to cut you off, bro.
No, you're fine. But to just add to that, you literally said everything that we've both been saying all along. When citizens revolt, you're going to get the answers you're looking for. And that's why you see in these foreign countries, even though blood is shed, like, I feel like with freedom comes disparity. With freedom comes risk. And sometimes with freedom, it comes with bloodshed, unfortunately. And these citizens understand that. They're sticking together. They're sticking by one another. And they're standing on what they believe in. Like you said, here we got a bunch of divide. Somebody comes with a plan. Let's not go to work for a week. Somebody's going to take their ass to fucking work. Like,
Exactly. That's the exact, because they're going to be like, oh, I can make more money now. That's the mentality
and
here in the
don't and
United
don't even
States.
and don't even think of like for example, just like how we've all people been saying stock up on groceries, stock up on canned goods, stock up on water and stuff, because there's going to come a time like now where motherfuckers might just have to really stand tall once and for all and protest. What you gonna be one of them people? Oh, y'all protesting, but I ain't got no water in my house. You should have fucking listened when we said start stocking up because shit's going to get spooky.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers don't listen. They don't care. And it's like you see these countries are being successful. Boris Johnson stepped down. The other prime minister stepped down.
I think they want, by the way, just a quick sidebar. I think they wanted him going for something, because you got to remember, he came in the office off, he's like Britain's version of Trump, basically.
So I've heard, yeah.
So like that it's a lot of I've heard different things on why, like basically what I've heard, the reason why they're yeeting him is bullshit. Basically, like the whole
Uh-huh.
he didn't report this sexual. Like I've heard that's bullshit. That you know how that goes. Like I heard that was bullshit. I think it's another deep state reason why the United States wanted him gone, because you got to realize nothing happens in Britain without the United States to say so. Hence why they're still
Of
trying to
course.
prosecute Julian Assange right now. Like the Britain doesn't want to deal with this, but the United States does. So that was just a quick sidebar of Boris Johnson, because I think they want him gone for some. Because my thing is, he was one of the main people. He's been hawkish on Russia when it comes to the Ukraine war. But I'm like, is there somebody more hawkish than him that would escalate more than him? But I'm like, how much more can you escalate? Like this nigga went to Ukraine himself and told the president, don't negotiate with Russia, so they can keep the war going, keep sending them money and weapons. By the way, Joe Biden just authorized another $400 million to Ukraine today. That's right.
Of course.
but yeah, so he's been. It seemed like in lockstep with them. So I'm like, what is it? So I'm gonna be doing more research to break that down more. But yeah, bro, this shit, it's like crazy. Like, and look, people like me have been saying this is going to happen. You're going to start seeing more political instability here in the West. I think it's going to be even scarier in the United States, because everybody has a fucking gun and they're drugged up. So I think it's going to be even scarier here in the United States. It ain't going to be no protest against the elites. Because you also got to remember, you have people here in America that basically, I was talking about it earlier, they're cocksuckers of the elite. I was talking about this earlier with the whole Elon Musk situation. Like, you saw how many people were like, oh my God, Elon Musk is going to give us free speech. Like, if a billionaire has to give you free speech, I'd argue you didn't have it in the first place. But so I think it's a damn near, and look, this is the pessimistic side of me. It's this guy, Caleb Maupin. I think the guy I was telling you about earlier, I'm trying to get him on the show. He brings out the optimism in me sometimes, but the pessimist in me is like, I don't see this happening, because the class divides here in America runs too deep. The racial divides run deep as well. Like,
Yeah, we're
bro,
fucked.
people don't know, like, we don't have class solidarity. Yeah, Zelensky is a tin horn. But, nah, it's this meme going around of like they superimposed Pelosi's face on like this old woman getting dressed, and it's like a young dude, and they put Zelensky's face on there, and like basically it looked like this young guy just got finished having sex with an older woman, and like in the speech bubble, Pelosi was like, all right, now let's talk about that $40 billion. But yeah, Zelensky's a tin horn. But yeah, what was I saying before I commented on his comment? I literally just had, my brain just died.
Johnson.
Like the fucking Dell music was just playing. The Dell music was just playing.
But in regards to all, I was about to call them dictators. That's what they fucking act like. But in regards to the prime ministers and just like the other former prime minister of Japan, who got
he got whacked.
Yeah, they took him down.
I don't know what they took him down for, but somebody whacked him. Especially the guy, they said he was a former Navy SEAL, I think, or something, or he was in the Navy. So I don't know if they said he was in the Japanese Navy or the U.S. Navy, but nah, that's some Manchurian candidate shit. That's weird. So I don't know, and he was on board with a lot of the U.S. policy, but again, if you disagree just a little bit with them, they'll take you out somehow. So I don't know. But then you had that. Let me pull this article up, because the Estonian prime minister, she just resigned. Now, apparently she resigned over some different issues. I'm not buying that bullshit, though, what they're saying. But yeah, here's this. Estonian prime minister resigns.
Oh yeah, yep. I couldn't think of it, but yep, that's her. Yep.
The Estonian President Karis has accepted the prime minister's resignation, saying it is completely within the spirit of the Constitution. Then immediately added her name to the candidate list for prime minister after Kallis announced she had reached a coalition with the aforementioned parties. So I'm not going to read through this whole thing.
Now, what was she the prime minister of?
Estonia. That's one of the Baltic states basically near Russia. She actually became popular in these Baltic states because she was like an advent, like Putin hater. She would shit on Putin all the time. Like, that's literally all you have to do in Europe is shit on Putin and you'll win the ticket, basically. But then, you know, you look up and realize, oh, she actually doesn't have any substantive policies for the people. So it's funny how these people shit on Putin so much, but Putin takes care of his people more than they do. Putin takes care of his people more than they take care of their own people. It's crazy, bro. They like, and I look. You know what? I'm not even gonna say that. I admire Vladimir Putin. I'm gonna say it straight up. When you look at how Russia was before this nigga took power, bro, Russia was a shithole. The United States turned Russia into a shithole with its bullshit libertarians don't like to talk about this, but whenever you go to Chile, whenever you go to Russia, whenever you go to Somalia, all of these places where these libertarian experiments were tried, they turned the countries into fucking shitholes. But they like to tell you about the failures of communism. The Soviet Union went from being one of the poorest countries on the face of the planet to, in a span of 30, 40 years, becoming an economic powerhouse and one of the second superpower on the fucking face of the planet. Same thing with China. So communist countries and socialist countries achieve way more to like, look at how long it took the United States, a quote unquote capitalist country, to develop. How long did it take us to develop, bro? Josh?
Took too damn long.
150 years?
It seemed like we still ain't developed.
Really are developed. Yeah, I'd agree. Well, I think we developed. It's just that we haven't what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Innovated our infrastructure at all. Like, we literally have infrastructure from the 1950s, bro.
Yeah, of course. The American dream is right ahead. Yeah, all right.
I think George Carlin said this. The American dream is exactly that. You got to be asleep to see it. I think Carlin said that.
Hey.
Carlin was a real nigga, bro. Carlin was a real nigga.
Yo, yep. Yep.
Then he had the abortion joke. He was like, you ever notice how the people that are pro-life are dudes you don't want to fuck anyway?
Yeah, like if you look at a Mitch McConnell and listen to his statements, it's like, come on now. Mitch looked like he sat in the back of his class with his textbooks and his suspenders on. Looked like he ate his sandwich at that one table by himself. He got it from the lunch table first before anybody else left. It looked like he was at all his classes early.
Man, that nigga looked like he got his bitch taken by Tyrone, bro. That's why he hate black people so much.
Like, he looked like he talked slow as shit. Like,
back in my day, I had a girlfriend. Her name was Lucy, and this black guy, Tyrone, came and took her from me, and I was very upset about that. And that is why I will now be passing the anti-darky legislation. Bro.
Yo,
Donald Trump is going to be at the desk like, look, Mitch McConnell's bill is awesome. It's fantastic. I'm going to sign it. I know Kanye's going to be mad at me, but I promise I'll make it up to you, bud. I promise.
And then you got Clarence over there. He just looked like the black person that just fit in with all the white people. He fit in so hard with all the white people. He
literally looked like Sam Jackson and Django, bro. Like, I wanted to be like all you black people, get away from all these white people. Not you, Clarence. You right where you belong.
What was his name? What was his name on Django? His character's name? Steven. He looked like a Steven or Clarence. His Clarence. He fits the name.
He do. He had that nigga laugh though. Remember when the boy asked him about tarnishing Ruth Bader Ginsburg? He kind of had a nigga laugh. He had the barbecue laugh. He had that barbecue laugh. Like, yo, hey, look at Uncle Clarence over there tearing the ribs up, boy. You know I tear the ribs up.
Yo, like, he don't make no sense. He looked like he tried out all the white sports in high school just to fit in. Polo, field, fucking lacrosse.
This nigga played cricket in high school.
Motherfucker was on the swim team. This nigga fucking played water polo, like the sports that don't nobody care for. He was on the bowling team in school.
This nigga played like John Stockton on the basketball court.
Pass first, point guard.
All he do is shoot. Go ahead and shoot, Clarence.
Yo,
go ahead and shoot, Clarence. What are you doing? Don't go for a layup. What are you doing?
We said pass. 2 points, 10 assist ass nigga. That's exactly what he is. Average 6 for his career, 12 assists.
That nigga gonna play like JJ Redick.
or not even that. He the water boy that always want to put his input in how the plays is ran. And he the one at halftime he go on the court and wipe up the sweat off the floor.
Clarence, go get the water. Shut up and go get the water, Clarence. Yes, coach.
He said I think we don't care what you think. All right. Uncle Ruckus ass nigga. That's exactly look at gotta cater to the white man.
Joe Biden put him through.
Of course he did. Sleepy Joe. Sloppy Joe.
I'm trying to think what else is left on this European thing. I think you're going to see more leaders biting the dust. You know, you just saw Macron. He lost his majority in his parliament. So previously, in France, they have the president and they also have the prime minister. That's not the case anymore. The the actual leftist party in France controls that position. So he's losing political clout. I think the next one to go is Olaf Scholz. That's the next one to go because Germany is literally like they're going through their reserves that they're supposed to be using for winter like now. So like they're going to be fucked. They're going to be fucked in the winter. It's going to be a very cold winter for Europe, bro.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's what Freeway say, as the great rapper Freeway said, it's a cold winter. Y'all niggas better bundle up. That's what he said. Y'all better bundle up. He said it's gonna be cold summer. Cruel summer, as Kanye
Cruel
said.
Summer. Yeah. But yeah, so I think the German chancellor is going to be the next one to go, Olaf Scholz. So the one that was in there before, her name was Angela Merkel. She was like Macron before Macron was Macron, because after she left, Macron was really the only one that would challenge the United States like a little bit. You know, it's not really, but the little bit of challenge he gives them. Like Angela Merkel was standing firm on the gas. She was like, "We're not cutting Russian gas. It's never going to happen. It's not. Fuck y'all." And she was strong on that. So the woman has more balls than the man in Germany because the man is out there bro. This is the clearest I've ever seen Joe Biden speak. And he basically like cucked the German chancellor, basically the German president. They asked, so the press asked the German president, right? They asked the German president. They was like, yeah, so are you guys going to be cutting the Nord Stream 2 with Russia? Are you guys going to be canceling that project? And he went to go answer, and Joe Biden spoke for this nigga. He said, we promise that pipeline will be shut down. And they were like, well, Germany hasn't, it will be shut down. It will be stopped. And you just see the German prime, like the German chat, like this nigga's looking at him like, damn, I can't even answer for, no, you can't, nigga. Like that was the clearest I ever saw this nigga Biden speak to. Like Europe is they've basically been client states since post World War II. That's basically what they've been ever since World War II. And the people there obviously they want that to change. You know, whenever you hear them talking about politics, whether it's, you know, right-leaning people, left-leaning people, they want the boot of Uncle Sam off their necks. And that's how they feel about it. So I think you're going to see more heads roll in Europe. I don't know who they're going to be replaced by. It's kind of a similar situation we have here. Like you're just going to get Donald Trump, like you're going to get Joe Biden, but you know, more funny, I guess, like, and not sleep all the time. Like Donald Trump is going to be the same thing. Like it's like I keep telling people, like, if you think voting Republican is going to do, like, I keep trying to explain to people, like, you're not going to vote against Raytheon. You're not going to vote against Pfizer. You're not going to vote against Goldman Sachs. Your vote is never going to beat those guys. Those guys have remained undefeated for a very long time. The only way that's going to change is if, like, you know, we either do what we've been talking about. I think we need a general strike altogether. Like everybody just stay the fuck at home. Everybody, even stay people niggas that
watch TV,
even niggas that work from home, don't do shit. They can't. They need us. They need That's the thing. They need us. If we don't show up, what are they going to do? That's what I keep trying to explain to people. But people are cowards. Or not. I'm not going to say people are cowards. People are afraid.
People don't want even to take baby steps. Like I've seen people like go to work. You work 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, 9 to
Work
5.
9 to 5.
8:30 to 5, really. But
Everybody walk the fuck out after lunch.
Facts.
Literally, when it starts to get busy, everybody walk the fuck out. You don't even gotta leave. You don't even gotta leave your jobs. Like you don't even gotta leave your job. Like going to the parking lot, Lord, or where they go? They gonna call the police, tell y'all go back to work. They
exactly. Like but that's what people like me have been advocating for. But whenever you talk about these things, like I'll just speak from the leftist perspective. I don't know what it's like for more for conservative and right wing people in their circles, but I can tell you in the left, I'll use air quotes for that, leftist circles, because they're literally fucking liberals, and liberals aren't leftist. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but I will continue saying that on these streams. But you'll literally get these talking heads that will tell you not to do that because we need to get more people, more Democrats in the we need to get more progressive Democrats like AOC in the Congress so they can go there and befriend the establishment and not do shit for you. And like if you try to do that, you're a what's the word they use all the time? I forget what the word is they use, but basically like you're causing trouble, basically like you're starting a ruckus when you shouldn't do that. Like we need to rely on these people to save us. And it's like, fuck you, fuck anybody telling you that. Like, and most of these people are rich, they have healthcare. I like me and a lot of other people say this shit all the time. Anybody telling you not to implement direct action, not to do strikes, not to do all these things, like they either are infiltrators or they have healthcare. They have everything they need. They don't need shit. They have everything they need. And also, they approve the strikes that they like. You feel me? So instead of trying to organize a mass general strike, like they're trying to uphold the unions, which I feel like, we like, how do you feel about unions? Because me personally, I'm pro the idea and concept of union. I'm pro what the unions used to be. But I think it's time for leftists to come to the conclusion and accept the reality of the situation that the unions are not what they used to be. What's your opinion on the unions?
Work unions are not what they used to be. They used to mean shit. They used to hold presence. And the fucked up thing about unions is that there's not even work unions in work forces that really need a union. Like Amazon does not have an actual union. People have had to create their own unions within Amazon.
That's what that guy Christian Smalls is doing, and you have a lot of people. So I had this guy Franco. His name's Franco. His show is called Frank Analysis. He's been digging in the ass of this guy. Pause. He's been digging in the ass of this guy Christian Smalls, who was the organizer. He's the guy that's been organizing the Amazon unions and everything like that. He started out doing a great job. I've talked about him on my channel. A lot. But then you start seeing him pop up in pictures with Hollywood celebrities and shit. He's going to the White House and everything, and people are like, well, he's still, look at him wearing his do-rag and his hat and his glasses. Oh my God, he's such a rebel. Look at him standing next to Joe Biden with the fist up and all that shit. And it's like, all right, that's cool theatrics, but it's like, what actual substantive power? And he's actually been on the ground doing the work. You feel me? But it's very concerning for people looking at the outside in when we start seeing you get comfortable basically with the elites, you feel me, with the ruling class. It's very concerning because whenever that happens, we saw this with AOC. We saw that, it happens all the time. So, but speaking of unions, I want to show you this video I found earlier, and I kind of want to move into this China segment that I had too. And this could kind of segue into it, but I was watching this earlier at work. This is from the guy I told you about earlier, the Caleb Maupin guy. He was on my.
I agree. Everything he said.
He did he works for RT, and he did a segment. He posted it on his channel. Let me find it though.
In the meantime, I like Caleb Maupin. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Maupin. His takes are just straight to the point and common fucking sense. He uses common fucking sense.
Yeah.
And especially what he recently said in regards to U.S.-China relations, I agree 100%. The U.S. can definitely learn from China for sure.
Oh, that's actually, so this is about China and labor unions, because the labor unions are pushing the Cold War with China, basically the new Cold War with China, and they're doing it through
He
the
was
guy.
on RT.
He works for RT.
Oh,
He was a journalist for RT America, but then they shut down RT America in America and they banned him in Europe. So you have to literally, like, he takes the clips that he does and he posts them here because RT doesn't have a YouTube channel no more because they YouTube kicked them off at the behest at the behest of the United States government. And they try, like, this is the shit they say Russia does. Just to make that clear. But he did this piece about how the labor is pressuring Biden to keep anti-China tariffs. Let's get into it.
Possibly roll back.
Can you hear it?
Yep, you're good.
By the Trump administration. Biden is looking to possibly roll back some of the tariffs imposed on China by the Trump administration. The White House sees this as a possible way of tackling the crisis of inflation, which is causing misery to working families across America. The U.S. Treasury Secretary says that a lot of the tariffs that were thrown at China did not really serve a strategic purpose. The idea is that lifting...
So you heard that, right?
Yep, I sure did.
The tariffs that Trump imposed did not serve a strategic purpose.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So why does, if conservatives, Republicans care about working class families that are suffering right now, why are we not trying every avenue to alleviate that pain, which is removing some of these tariffs? Now, a lot of these tariffs that Trump imposed, this is like part of that trade war he did with China. I don't know if you remember that. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. It hurt a lot of, guess what? A popular topic we've been talking about on the stream tonight. Farmers. It hurt a lot of farmers here in America. They couldn't get certain products. They were overpriced, yada, yada, whatever. It hurt farmers here in America. And Trump, again, I'll use the air quotes, bailed them out, right? He didn't bail out the actual family farms that were suffering, the small farms here in America that were suffering. He bailed out the big corporate farms and basically told the small family ones to go fuck themselves. And that's why a lot of them actually didn't vote for him in 2020. So to a lot of the people talking about, Donald Trump really won the election and things, yada, yada, things like that. Like, you may believe that. I'm not a person that thinks you should be censored, or I'm not even going to shit on you because I know the elections are wonky here in the United States. But like, we need to be looking at the real, like, Trump caused a lot of hurt on real people outside of COVID too. That's not even talking about COVID. So nobody ever talks about that though. But they don't serve a strategic purpose. So you know how Democrats are all about this Russia rah rah. You're like, fuck Russia shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Republicans are the same way with China, and don't get it twisted. Democrats are too. We're like, when we get into the China story from Fox News, we're going to get into that. But my thing is, he's been getting a lot of flack from the Republican Party for this. And my thing is, if we're actually looking to help and alleviate the pain, the financial pain that American families are facing, why are we removing tariffs from China that don't even serve a strategic purpose?
That is true.
That's crazy to me. That shows me that you guys are virtue signaling. Like, people try to pretend that's only a leftist thing. Conservatives do it too. They virtue signal all the time. Like, to virtue signal to your conservatives that hate China and think, all these things floating around about China, these misconceptions a lot of Western people have about China and things like that. Like, why are we not trying to do this? And actually, this will help ramp down tensions. So whenever countries start interacting economically and through trade, that was supposed to be the idea of, doing this global trade system that we have now. Unfortunately, it was manipulated by the elite class to basically, price people out of the economy, all types of shit like NAFTA, all of the effects of that. But when countries trade more, it lessens the possibility of countries going into conflict and wars because they both have something to lose in that standpoint. You feel me? So, but let's go ahead and get back into the video though.
Them might relieve inflation by about as much as 1%. And
so, and also they've been bitching. That's the Olaf Scholz guy I was talking about too. He's the chancellor of Germany. He's basically the president of Germany for all intents and purposes. Mm-hmm. The guy Biden shaking hands with, and that was the guy he cucked at the press conference. I should find that press conference too where Biden said that.
And not cause too much trouble for the United States in the long run. Now, the economic move is facing a lot of opposition from labor unions that are a big part of the Democratic Party's base. Biden fears.
Oh yeah, you know this guy. He wrote the opening to Gaddafi's book too.
Did he?
Yeah, Gaddafi has a book. It's called The Green Book. Caleb Maupin wrote the opening for the book.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Losing labor support.
There are a lot of different elements to this, especially since the previous administration imposed these tariffs in such a haphazard way, in a non-strategic way. So we want to make sure that we have the right approach.
U.S. labor unions have been pushing
Wait,
for
wait,
tariffs.
Wait. I know this is way off topic. That sounds like Siri.
I think that's what they. Yeah. Look, man, they on the budget, bro. They've been sanctioned, bro. They on the budget. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? The shipping company you see right there, China Shipping. They come to my job all the time. I literally. Yeah, a lot of the shit I touch goes to China, Japan, all over the place.
Damn, that is crazy.
Yeah, but now note, this is the only part where I'm like, all right, this is another attempt for Biden to deflect blame by, to deflect taking blame by blaming Trump, basically. But this is a rare instance where he's actually right. And I don't want to allow him to weasel out. I'm just pointing out the fact that the analysis here that I'm giving, like, this is correct. Like, this is not wrong. Like, a lot of the tariffs were there was no strategy behind these tariffs besides basically giving Trump a way to virtue signal to the anti-fuck China crowd, which consists of conservatives, Republicans, the Trumpers, his base, but also liberals as well. So,
right approach.
U.S. labor unions have been pushing for
and this is where it comes into the labor unions part.
Tariffs and a trade war against China for a long time, seeing it as a way to rescue American manufacturing jobs. Here's what the Labor Advisory Committee, closely tied to the United Steelworkers, had to say.
China's theft of intellectual property and their policies to advance innovation in order to serve the goals of the Chinese Communist Party has had a corrosive, continuing and substantial impact on domestic industry and its workforce. So,
this is a talking point that, well, actually, before I say that, so what is the main criticism? One of the main criticisms of unions today, Josh. What do you think it is?
Wages.
That, but also that they have been co-opted by the very same bosses they're being paid and hired to combat and stand against at every turn, right? This is the same thing their fucking boss. This is the same thing the business owners say, the owner class and the ruling elite class says about China. Now, the historical context between this. When China opened up in the 1970s, Nixon, actually Nixon in the very much, position Biden's in right now in terms of, skyrocketing stagflation. The difference between Nixon and Biden is that Nixon put a freeze on wages and prices. Now, you have a lot of conservatives and libertarians that will say that that's tyranny. I mean, look, I'm not an economist. I don't know how to feel about it. I've heard two different things about it, but hey, who knows? But another one of the things he did was he decided to mend ties with China, where at the time we were like in a hostile relationship with them, like literally just 10 years prior or 15 years prior, we threatened to drop a nuclear bomb on them. So but part of that deal of China opening up was that they would share technology. The West would share technology with China. That technology consists of intellectual property. So China's not stealing intellectual property. This is part of the deals that they made with the West in order for the manufacturing to come into their country. And again, it's crazy because this is where a lot of the wage slavery things and things we hear about China coming from, like, oh, there's a Chinese kid making your phone in China right now. Like, that did happen in these periods. Nobody's denying that happened. But the problem is, what you got to realize, China was a very economically impoverished country because of the sanctions that the United States placed on them and how basically they isolate, the West isolated them from the rest of the world. And then at the time you had the Sino-Soviet split, basically Stalin and Mao had their beef. So China split from the Soviet Union. You know, they had beef and shit like that. So China was basically on its own. And, you know, going through the Cultural Revolution, all of the madness that happened through that, there was a lot of bad shit that happened to China. China was a very poor country at this point. They're taking any opportunity they can. So, like, whenever, like, basically, long story short, you know how they tell us here in America to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps? China pulled itself up by its bootstraps. And the same people who tell people to do that are now upset about that. It's basically what this is. So, and I'm sure he might explain that. I don't know if he does in this video or not, but
the direct effects have been significant alone, but compounded with indirect.
But again, this is a labor union basically saying State Department and corporation talking points. This is a labor union saying this stuff.
Direct effects. The impact.
Like, if you took away the U.S. Labor Advisory Committee for Trade, if you took that title away and like put Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or any other billionaire that shits on China all the time, or any other American politician, you could have put Tom Cotton's name there, and it would be indistinguishable.
On the competitiveness of the U.S. economy has been devastating.
Many labor unions have been pushing for government protectionism for a long time. However, there are other sections of the labor movement that favor a different strategy, wanting to confront employers more often and expand union ranks to the service sector.
Our government must act in the national interest to strengthen our economy for the future.
As a Democrat with roots in Delaware and Pennsylvania, Joe Biden has boasted.
How you feel about that? Hold up. I'll actually let him finish so you can hear it.
Being a friend of the labor movement for a long time.
In my White House, you'll always be welcome. Labor will always be welcome. You know, you've heard me say many times, I intend to be the most pro-union president leading the most pro-union administration in American history.
So now Biden is faced.
How you feel about that?
Bunch of pro-union bullshit.
Good old Delaware Joe. I can tell you as a laborer, I don't feel that. I can tell you as a laborer from Joe Biden's home state. I work a labor job here in Delaware. I can tell you right now, I don't feel that, Joe. Like, and your policies are making that worse, Joe. Like, by the time I finish paying my bills, Joe, I have no money, Joe. I can barely afford the gas to get to work, Joe.
Joe don't care. Joe basically a damn millionaire.
He don't, dog. He really don't. At this point, bro, I'm gonna have to vote for a different Joe, either Rogan or Budden. I wouldn't mind Budden for president, dog. I honestly wouldn't mind.
Here you go.
What? How you feel about Budden? What you got to say about Budden?
Man, that man a loon. You don't even know what version of him you gonna get.
You don't know if you're gonna get the calm, cool, collected Budden, the Zen Budden, or the fucking wild and out loose, crazy Budden. You never know. But let's go ahead and close out this video so we get into these China articles.
Will he appease his labor base, or will he improve things with China and lift the tariffs to address inflation? You can be sure that in the back rooms of the White House, advisors are weighing different options.
Some of the tariffs were imposed under the previous administration, under Trump. And so in that sense, Biden can present this as, his different style of dealing with other countries. Actually, one problem is that China has reduced exports of certain items to the US voluntarily. I think the idea is, okay, let's try to be nicer there and make sure there's enough supplies coming to the US. Biden would not be the first politician.
So that's another thing too, bro. All of the items and products that are supposed to be imported into the United States from China, they haven't been priced in yet for the next quarter. They haven't been priced in yet. So we could find ourselves in the United States could find itself in the same situation that Europe's in terms of with the gas and things like that with Russia. We could find ourselves in a similar situation when it comes to our goods coming in from China. So, because they're talking about putting sanctions on China for assisting Russia, which there's no evidence of that. But even if they did, they're a sovereign fucking country. You guys don't get to tell other countries what to do. But regardless, and they're provoking tensions in Taiwan. So they're basically saying, like, if you do anything to Taiwan, we're going to put sanctions on you. And China's kind of been like, look, we don't want to do this, but then we'll have to up the price on our products then to account for the sanctions that you're putting on this. So the cost of those, hypothetically could rise, and then the price we're going to be paying is hypothetically going to rise. And we're already seeing, inflation on goods here in the United States. So China could be dicks about it and say, all right, look, we're going to price this shit up. Most countries try not to do that. Like Russia that's been a fail-safe, a last ditch effort for them to basically like use the oil, weaponize, the oil, for China to weaponize the goods and imports to the United States and things like that, because it's the same way the United States uses the dollar, like how they weaponize the dollar. Once you weaponize it, the rest of the world is going to see it as a weapon, and they're not going to want to fuck with you on that terms, or they're going to lessen how much they fuck with you because they understand this can be used as a weapon against them. So
petition to make a promise, and then when in power break that promise. We know that US governments have not really in recent years cared very much about what labor unions say.
So yeah, I just found that interesting to see. And here I had some things. Actually, I think I'm gonna save this for tomorrow. I think I'm gonna save the rest of this stuff for tomorrow. Oh, actually, nah. I'll say this for tomorrow too. But I guess I'll close out just with the culture war stuff. So I wanted to just talk about the culture war real quick. Like, and I think you'll find this interesting to talk about. Like, as a black person and as a black man, I talk about issues. I'll talk about our issues on this channel and everything like that, and the things the black community, what they're saying and how they feel, what we're saying and how we feel. And it's like, I just find it so weird that, like, with that being said, I don't use my identity as like, for me, like you hear me say this all the time. I think the issue's class, bro. I think the issue's class. Now, when we're talking about things like, for example, policing, to me, that's an issue that has to be addressed, and specifically for black people, because black people are the ones facing the brunt. It's two issues for me that need to be directly addressed. I would say, like, outside of class. So I'm leaving economics out of it, kind of, because I feel like a lot of the economic proposals that I'm in favor for would help the black community tremendously. But there's two things specifically I think need to be catered towards black people for. That's reparations and that's policing. And policing, I guess you can kind of say it would be a universal issue, because I don't know if you saw, along with the Jalen Walker, like, I know you heard about the Jalen Walker case, right?
Oh, for sure.
Well, they shot another white kid in the head on the highway. He was having a mental breakdown. He had a gun in his hand and all that. They shot and killed him. They shot him in the head and killed him in front of like a whole bunch of people in the middle of the highway. The guy was having a mental breakdown and they shot and killed him. So, although this is a black issue, like, this is a good thing to demilitarize the police for everybody, but specifically this needs to be a black issue as well. But that being said, reparations, I feel reparations and policing need to be the two things that are catered towards black people. I 100% feel that. Like, we had, how many years did we had to wait for this anti-lynching bill to be put through? And like, they sign a Asian hate bill like that. They sign a fucking abortion executive order like that. You see, like, nah, fuck that. Y'all need to handle that. But when it comes to the culture war stuff, I'm just seeing a lot of the ridiculousness going on with it. Like, bro, we are on the brink of nuclear war with Russia. We have a president that's like, he's not there. Sleepy Joe. That's all you got to say. You have another guy who's probably going to win in 2024, who's just as bad. Let's be real. Just because Biden sucks doesn't mean Trump, Biden sucks. Biden suck doesn't mean Trump good. All these issues going on, and we're like arguing about trans people, and we're arguing about pronouns, and we're arguing about all this shit. Like, so it was a big debate that I saw online about people talking about Elliot Page. Do you know who that is?
I do not.
I'm going to dead name him here, but Do you know who Ellen Page was?
I've heard of that name.
She was the Juno chick.
Oh yeah.
You know she transitioned to being a man, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, she is now him. So he goes by Elliot Page now, right? So you know who Jordan Peterson is, right?
Yeah.
He basically got kicked off Twitter. I don't know what the exact tweet was, but he was basically like making fun of her or some shit, and he basically like compared like transition surgery to like Nazism or some shit. I don't know exactly what the tweet was. He got kicked off Twitter though. Do I agree with him getting kicked off Twitter? No, I don't. And it's basically been a whole big debate. And it's this chick that's on Twitter. Like, I follow her show. I like her. I like some of the things she says, but I personally feel like her name's Kim Iverson. I feel like she goes too far into the culture war stuff. I'm actually about to show you. Let me show you this. I'll show it to you, actually. I think she posted it on her Twitter. Oh shit. Let me share my screen. She actually just posted more of the Sri Lanka stuff. You see this?
Yep. It's loaded.
This is Sri Lanka. It's a gas station. Yeah, that country's like fucking collapsed. But where is it at? Wow, this is funny. So you see how conservatives are framing this now? Elon Musk is terminating his agreement to buy Twitter. So basically, Twitter has a huge amount of spam accounts, way more than they let on, and has gotten busted for it. As I said weeks ago, spam accounts are probably 50%, not 5% of Twitter users. So my thing is, so you want Elon Musk to come in and do identity verification bullshit? Like ever since he's brought this issue up, like I have to type my phone number in for my accounts that I didn't want to do. But they wouldn't let me back into my account that I use for my business, basically, American Autopsy. They wouldn't let me back in my account unless I typed in my phone number. So what's the next step from that? We're going to have to show our fucking IDs next?
That's a solid point.
And these are the dumbasses that will scream all day that, oh, that's tyranny. But here, like, with the guy you're cheering for right now, the guy you're dick riding, the guy whose meat you're slobbing right now, that's the shit that he wanted to bring to the platform. This is a perfect example. So the chick I was telling you about, Kim Iverson, she retweeted this. This is the exact bullshit that I'm talking about. Like, you see how the culture war just like rots everybody's fucking brain. But she put up this post. Where's it at? And she makes good points. I like her show a lot, by the way. So it comes off a lot like, you know, I be shitting on her, but I'm just, look, like I said, iron sharpens iron, bro. I'm just making points. But I'm trying to find this post, man. She might have deleted it. If she did, she pussy for that. If she deleted it, she pussy for it. Wait, I think I found it. Hold up, my bad. I really want to show. I think you will find this. Damn, I think she might have deleted it or she blocked the bull that commented. So it's this dude on Twitter, like, that I follow. He's part of the Revolutionary Blackout Network. You should actually check them out. I think you would like it. But let's just check out this clip real quick.
I guess we should not say it.
So you can kind of get a gist of what they're saying.
It was what Elliot Page's name was.
So Elliot Page, like I said, he was formerly known as Ellen Page. As Ellen Page, she was in Inception and Juno and all that shit. Now she goes by she is he, and he goes by Elliot Page, and that's the setup, and this is what they're talking about on here.
Before, I guess we should not say it because maybe that
Yes,
would
it's a dead-
violate some policy.
It's a dead name. I mean,
But that's
no thing.
crazy.
Why is it?
I don't
truly
understand
insane.
Why is it? Why is that any
I mean,
crazier than people change their name? Call me this.
Elliot-
Call me this. I prefer to be called.
Right,
that.
but
That's
to
what's
not even be, but to not even be allowed to acknowledge that you used to have a different name.
What do you need to be able to acknowledge that for? How are you suffering? Where's your harm? Where's your oppression?
That person lived as a different person for a long time, decades. And so to say that suddenly we all have to pretend like those decades didn't exist and that person wasn't that person for those decades.
You're not forced to pretend that. You just can't.
I understand.
You just can't say it out loud?
No, you can talk.
Right.
Why are we pretending like that is what's happening here? It's very simple.
That is what's happening.
There's a trans man now. Elliot Page. That is their name. That is the name that they go by.
I said
their
him,
dead
and
name
I
is their
said Elliot Page.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Their dead name is their dead name. They don't go by that anymore. They find it dehumanizing or diminishing to their personhood to be called that. And that is what it is. It's not uncommon. People change their names all the time, and we use the different names that they go by.
Right, but then if somebody goes, well, who's that? I go, oh, they used to be X. I would fill them in. And you can't do that on social media because of this policy.
Did you get banned from calling Prince even
Yeah,
after
you
he
still
changed
there, bro?
his name to a symbol?
Yep.
I mean,
It's
that's
not
where
the
we're
same. We are comparing apples and vegetables because this is a trans person. We've explained this. The name, the dead.
Wait, yo, can you see the video store or no?
Nah, it went. When
was the last thing you heard?
Apples and vegetables. When the black girl said you're literally comparing apples to vegetables. That was getting into that.
And I go, oh, they used to be X. I would feel
Yeah, right here is good.
Prince did too. I mean, maybe he felt like being called Prince was.
I mean,
I've explained it. Go ahead. Listen. Go ahead. Go forth. Go forth smartly. Go.
I think it's not. I think it's a really weird especially for a famous person, a person of some notable public significance to be formally disallowed from talking about some public and we're not saying this is some embarrassing secret that we're trying to spare them from. I mean, no, this is a public. This person was in movies. Was under this name.
It's
under
obviously
this gender
very.
identity.
Let's not listen. For the dead name to trend, for something to trend, people have to be using it massively. It has to be being discussed. Let's not act like we don't know where that comes from. If we know that this is now a trans person, they go by Elliot Page, and there are a large amount of people calling them by their dead name, so much so that it trends. There is a deliberacy in there meant to offend this person because they do not go by that anymore. I don't know what is this big.
If anyone was continuing to use it and not using the new name just to be, provocative or mean-spirited, right? I mean, I would use the name the person wants to use now, and I would recognize their gender identity now. I do not think we should be for a public person, for someone who is well known to the people, for sake of clarity or for sake of biography, to acknowledge that they used to have a different name.
You can acknowledge.
Crazy to me to say that we're not allowed to do that.
But do you see how we sat here and we had this whole discussion? We acknowledged that they used to have a different name. We acknowledged that they had this life before that, but we never called them the name.
Well, no, it's tiptoeing around.
My point is, it's that simple. You're not allowed. We had the whole conversation. Yes. What is the problem with that? You're not allowed to call somebody by a name that they don't go by anymore. Big deal.
No, it's not allowed. We shouldn't be not allowed to say what a person was for decades.
God forbid you.
Yo, I'm back, bro. I don't know why it keeps conking out every time I go to like play the video and everything.
Nah, you're all good. But I'll definitely have to tune into that later on. It was getting good.
But basically this bull commented because I think I'll just go ahead and tell you, I couldn't find the tweet, but the bull commented. This one bull commented. I'll probably, if I find the tweet, we can talk about it next time we come on the stream. But he was basically like, she raised so that whole concept of dead naming, right? And calling somebody a name that they don't want to be called no more, and that they don't identify as no more, and they don't go by no more. What does that remind you of? Who does that remind you of?
Like the person?
Like what? Who is a famous person who's also done that, but for different reasons?
Bruce Jenner.
Muhammad Ali.
Oh wait. Oh, you talking about like actual?
No, a person who has a dead name now. They don't go by the same name, their same birth name, regardless of the reason, whether it's a trans person, Muhammad Ali for religious reasons.
Too.
Who?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as well.
Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kwame Ture, all these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bull commented because she brought up Muhammad Ali. She was like, people like why, like basically she was saying why should why should Elliot Page get these like something that she brought up basically Muhammad Ali. And the bull commented, he was like, yo, like, Muhammad Ali famously beat the shit out of somebody because they kept calling him by a name that wasn't his fucking name. Yo, like he got in the ring and beat the shit out of it. So it's like, my thing is, I'm not advocating for violence, but what I'm saying is like, why, like, it's common decency, bro. Like, why I don't get why it's so hard just on that front. But why are we talking about this? Like, Jordan Peterson is somebody. We know what Jordan Peterson's about. Like, he's gonna say shit to inflame people. At this point, he's a shock jockey. I don't care. I really don't care. That's the point. I don't care. But on the substance of what she was saying, because I actually saw some of the other tweets that he put up, and I'm almost done. I'm gonna close out. I know you try to get off, but he brought this up. This is the guy I was talking about. If I could find it, I just literally just had it up. So he brought here it is. So she said the point is whether or not you're allowed to say certain things, you can call Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay and not be banned from Twitter or lose your job. Why should trans people receive special treatment because they choose to change their names versus their names versus others who choose to change theirs? She was like, some of these comments really and then she commented some other shit. But here's the tweet I was talking about. He said Muhammad Ali literally beat the shit out of Ernie Terrell for refusing to call him Muhammad Ali. He famously shouted, "What's my name? What's my name?" while taunting him during the fight. He didn't shake his hand or anything after the fight because he was so offended. So that's, an example that you have, her own example that she used. But then now you say, he also commented, he said, now you are reduced to tone policing and playing the victim. This person responded, not what she said at all. What happened? And this person responded, what happened to you? He just brings up the whole culture warrior aspects. And that's basically the point I wanted to touch on. Like, these concepts are made to divide the working class. Like I don't get why it's, I don't get why, if I don't care if a person's trans or the artist formerly known as, I don't care if a person's trans. I don't care if you're a libertarian. If you're willing to work with me on issues, we're going to have common respect for each other and work on these issues. That's the thing. But that needs to be a two-way street though. So while I'm willing to work with more conservative people, more right-leaning libertarian people, like, that needs to be a two-way street. Like, we need to have come to a common, a mutual commonality. Like, there was certain, when the Black Panthers, like, people like to bring up the Black Panthers with the Young Patriots in Chicago, who were like this, this racist group in Chicago that was running around with the Confederate flag and all that, and the Panthers, specifically Fred Hampton, teamed up with them and did their thing and everything. They came to mutual agreements about shit. So, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about just in terms of the culture war, is that these culture war topics, like, they're put there to divide the working class. And it's like,
Yep.
but unfortunately, the rhetoric I see surrounding it only is in reference to when it comes to like leftist or trans issues or things like that. Which, look, these are issues I'm for the most part, like I said, I go by Caleb Maupin's doctrine. Identity should be removed from politics, in my opinion. Like I said, the only exception I would make is when people's obviously their rights are being violated. Like, nobody's going to sit here and say you got to deal with your rights being violated because like, nobody's fucking saying that. Nobody is saying that. But this culture war stuff, what you have the woke side, then you have the anti-woke side. Both sides are basically virtue signalers, and it's like it's not productive for anybody. And in my opinion, it's just a bunch of motherfuckers who are good, who don't have any, circumstances, like the liberals and the libertarians on the other side, who are more, more wealthier and things like that. Like, it's basically two niggas who's already straight, not, two non-working class people arguing about this. Basically, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, this doesn't involve me. My whole thing is just don't engage. That's where I'm at. I don't engage. As soon as people start talking that bullshit, I instantly go back to talking about economics or talking about foreign policy and things like that. Like, I don't talk about those things. Because while those, they're things that are going on in the world, like a lot of those situations will be mediated and resolved with the economic shit and the anti-imperialist shit that I'm talking. So that's just the point I'm making with the culture war stuff. So if you had any closing thoughts, go ahead and share it, and after that, we'll go ahead and close out.
I literally agree with everything you just said, literally verbatim. 100%.
All right, man. Well, I guess, guys, thank you for tuning into the live stream. Josh, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. I'm gonna close out, bro. Thanks for popping on.
Sir, yes, sir. No, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Shout your stuff out.
Everybody just follow me Instagram, Josh the CEO. Keep up with everything, and make sure you guys always tune in to American Autopsy at least 3 times a week. You'll be in for a treat.
I'm probably going to stay on a little longer. So, but I think I might bring somebody on. So, but
Josh,
Josh,
I'll be listening. I'll be still listening.
We're like I said, thanks for coming on, bro. Peace.
Always, bro. Much love. Appreciate it. Thank you for having
me. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. But all right,
bro.
No,
you good, bro. I said much love. Thank you for having me. Always a blast. Always.
Yep. So I think I'm gonna open the floor. Like, I'm gonna open the floor. Anybody that wants to come on, let me drop the link. If anybody wants to come on and talk to me. I'll stay on for another like 15, 20, however long, if somebody hop on and start talking to me. So posting a link down below, the invite link. And I don't know if anybody's watching on Twitter right now, but I will go post the link in Twitter as well. I'm gonna post it in my the post I already made about me going live, guys. I'm gonna post it below the live video if you guys wanted to hop in. That is the link. So I'll give it about 10 minutes, see if anybody wants to hop on. Because like I said, I've always wanted to open the floor. I just never done it. So I still feel like talking a little bit. So I guess I'll just ramble a little longer. But those were good topics that I covered. As always, my guy Joshy came on. I appreciate him coming on. It was love to have him on. But yeah, just going back real quick to that Kim Iverson thing. Because look, I'm not a person. I don't hate Kim Iverson. I actually like Kim Iverson. I disagree with her on some things that she says. I'm in no way trying to say we should be policing her speech or censoring her in any way, shape, or form. That's not what I'm saying at all. Just logically, like, why are we talking about these? Like, you're literally doing the same thing that you say this other group is doing. I think us as people who are more, especially people that are more politically aware than, the everyday person, our goal should be trying to maintain the conversation being had about the economic circumstances of the working class. Like Kim Iverson is somebody that will talk about the working class a lot. That's one of the reasons why I started fucking with her, and I still fuck with her heavy. But it's like lately, just with this diving into this culture war shit, it's like, I'm not with it. Why does this matter? Why should this matter? Why? I don't care about Elliot Page and I don't care about Jordan Peterson. They're both, I would say Jordan Peterson is close to a millionaire. Elliot Page is a millionaire. I don't care about these niggas. I really don't. I care about Jordan Peterson being censored, of course. That I care about that because I'm anti-censorship. But Jordan Peterson never talks about other censorship. Like Jordan Peterson only talks about censorship when he's being censored by college kids, pink-haired college kids, or when he gets kicked off Twitter. He never talks about Julian Assange, never talks about Daniel Hill, never talks about Edward Snowden. He never talks about any of these fucking people, ever. Please show me a time when he has. Somebody send me a link. So while I'm against him being kicked off Twitter, I need him to show consistency, not just when it comes to him and when it comes to the things that he cares about. So that's all I ask for is consistency. That's the number one thing I ask for is consistency in anybody's ideas and thoughts and shit like that. Because if you don't have consistency, like you're no different than the other side that you're complaining about. That's my opinion. In my opinion, that's how I feel. And I think that's not an unreasonable opinion to have. So I'm gonna keep it open for about 5 to 10 more minutes, guys. I'm just gonna keep rambling. If I don't see anybody wanting to hop in, I'm just gonna go ahead and close it out. But yeah, and the whole dead naming thing, like Nick there, Socialist MMA from RBN, the dope Nick Cruz, dope as always. It's like I get what he's saying there, because one of the things he was talking about, which if I could go back to that tweet, I'm gonna try and find it now. I think I'm gonna try and get Nick on here. Actually, so Josh, who was just on, he was telling me to make a list of people that I would want on the show and just hit them up, see if they will come on. And I think I'm gonna do that. And Nick would definitely be on that list, but mostly everybody at RBN will be on that list for me personally because they're all fucking dope as fuck. I really fuck with what they're doing over there, heavy. But let me go ahead and share my screen with this tweet. Yeah, so just continuing, because I was trying to rush through because I know Josh wanted to get off and everything like that. He had things to do, but yeah, he was like, now you are reduced to tone policing and playing the victim. Because he responded with the whole Muhammad Ali thing, and she's like, some of these comments really showcase the angry, hateful, and authoritarian attitude that's pervasive on the left these days. So blind with rage, they can't even understand a debate. Nick responded, now you are reduced to tone policing and playing the victim. And this person responded, not what she said at all. What happened to you? ? He said, Kim Iverson, and look, I don't think Kim Iverson is deeply unserious. I think this is what Kim Iverson actually believes. So I would disagree with Nick on that, but I'm not mad at him saying that because it can get infuriating. Like when you're all day, Nick is on here talking about class issues, working class issues, being a working class person. Me, myself, I do that as well here on this channel. Like when you're a working class person and you see one of these people come on just talking culture war shit constantly, it's very infuriating because this is a person, that has always spoke more so on working class issues. And it's like to see them delve into that, it's like, why are we like focusing on that? like it comes off as like tacky, in my opinion. That for me, at least, it comes off as tacky. But he said Kim Iverson is a deeply unserious culture warrior. I always spoke out against people like her. I'm not sure why you were confused. And he's 100% correct on that. And this person responded, Kim, an unserious person and a culture warrior, question mark. LOL, you're about as incorrect as you can be. Nick responded, bruh, she is literally leading the fight on the culture war that is meant to divide workers. This turncoat Don person responded, Kim is leading the culture war fight. That's just ridiculous for anyone else reading this thread. This is what Kim Iverson is all about.
It's this left-right, you're not on there, are not left and right. Like we've been gaslit into believing the two sides are the people versus the sides. The two sides that are out there are not left and right. Like we've been gaslit into believing the two sides are the people versus the establishment. And the establishment is very clearly on both sides of the aisle, firmly entrenched, deeply entrenched. You have Republican establishment and you have Democrat establishment. That's who we're up against. It's the people versus the establishment. It's not left and right, but they've got us gaslit into believing it's this left right. You're not on my side. I hear this all the time. Well, I thought you were on my side, but it turns out, you have some right wing talking points. So therefore you're not on my side. No, I'm on your side. If you're the people, I'm not on your side. If you are the establishment, that is it. We might have genuine disagreements with one another. We might be able to hash those out through conversation, but we cannot even do that if the establishment is continually in control of Washington. Billy Bob, who voted for Trump, who's trying to make it in the middle of Arkansas or Idaho, that is your enemy. That's what you're honestly thinking. That person is your enemy. That person's not robbing you of all your wealth. That person isn't regulating and taking your taxes and then giving it to corporations. That's not what Billy Bob in Idaho is doing. As much as you might think he's the giant threat, he is not your threat. And these progressives have not seemed to wrap their minds around that. So, and I've seen this not just with the progressives that obviously were voted into the House, but also just progressive commentators. We've seemed to have lost sight of what the progressive movement is. It is to fight the establishment, not join it. The establishment is robbing us. The establishment is ruining our chance at an American dream. We are more riddled in debt. We can't afford basic things like education and healthcare. These are not luxuries. No one's asking to be driving around in a Lamborghini and asking for taxpayer money for it.
So yeah, and I agree with everything Kim said there. The problem being that conversation you had on the Hill does not reflect that. It just doesn't. Honestly, it doesn't. Honestly, like I said, it reeks of culture war nonsense. Not even in my opinion, it's obvious. So that guy, Turncoat Don, shared that video. And then Nick responded, didn't she say she was going to vote for the pro-war capitalist Republicans? And that she did. That's what Kim said. That is what she said. Turncoat Don responded, I don't know, and I don't actually care as long as she doesn't advocate and vote for more Democrats. The Republicans at least have a faction of anti-war members, unlike the current Democratic Party. And Nick responded, the Republican Party is not anti-war. Holy shit. Kim Iverson is no different from AOC. Says the same thing sometimes, but supports a fascist imperialist party. How are they different? This guy continued. He said there are big differences between Trump Republicans and establishment DS and RS. And then he plays this clip.
As David was saying earlier, there has been a radical change in the composition of the Republican Party ideologically because of Trump, not because Trump is some sort of like disciplined political theorist or deep thinker, but because he ushered in, as David was saying earlier, he ran in 2016 in opposition to Bush-Cheney foreign policy, in opposition to Reagan economics. He railed against the power of large corporations at the expense of the working person, something you never would have heard from Reagan. But he also ushered in a lot of hostility toward agencies like the CIA and the NSA and the FBI,
NATO.
Something that had always been the province of the left. And so now you have an enormous amount of space opened on the right for all kinds of views that had previously been closed. And I think there's just a lot more vibrancy on the right, a lot more internal debate, whereas...
But I would say, just to cut that off right there, I'm gonna let Glenn finish. Well, I'm saying that as if he's like on the show, but that would be amazing. That's what I would love to have Glenn on the show. But as cool as that is, unfortunately, all that goes out the window when it comes to Iran. Like, are we not forgetting that we almost went to war with Iran? Like, we almost went. He assassinated their general and almost pushed us into a war with them. Like, that's pretending as if the China terrorists, like we talked about earlier in this stream, like very hawkish towards China, very hawkish towards Russia. Like, bruh, like you can say all the pretty words that you want and push these ideologies, but it's about your actions and follow through. And whenever I bring this up to Trump supporters, like when I'm breaking bread with them, it's not like I'm debating Trump supporters. I'm just talking to the niggas, like honestly, because I live in a mixed bag area. I have a mixed bag area of liberals, conservatives, all that. I'm in a situation where I can talk to like suburban white people. I'm in a situation where I could talk to redneck white people. I'm in a situation where I could talk to suburban black people, city black people. Like Delaware is a very weird space to exist in. So I'm getting all of these different opinions and things like that. So it's like when I'm talking to these people, I bring up these issues. They're like, huh, wow. Like one of my homies' dads, like we had this whole conversation at the bar and I brought up these points about Donald Trump and kind of changed his mind about that, about Trump. And it's not me trying to pull him back from the Trump way. I think Trump was good in some manners for the working class, but overall, in terms of anti-war, I can't say Trump was anti-war based upon those things. So guys, give me 1 second. I have to run and let my dog back in. I'll be right back. My dog had to go outside to let her out. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I am back. But yeah, so let's go ahead and let Glenn finish up.
In the Democratic Party, it's just a very much you're either with us or you're against us mindset, and any deviation, as we were talking about at the beginning, automatically results in them proclaiming their enemy, which doesn't seem like a very effective way of doing politics to me. I think probably the worst media myth is that the two parties can never get along. There's no more bipartisanship. They're so radically different. They can't agree on anything, when the reality is they agree on most things. It's just that the only things we hear about are the times when they disagree, but overwhelmingly on foreign policy, on economic policy. Obama himself said the two parties are essentially playing within the 40-yard line. So the entire rest of the playing field is basically not part of the political process because they have the same fundamental beliefs. And I think one of the reasons why Trump was such a shock to the system was not because the Trump administration itself was a deviation from American political tradition. It wasn't, but because some of the things he said, like questioning NATO and whether it has viability, was designed to undermine that bipartisan consensus. But I think in general...
But see, that's the thing, bro. And I agree with what Glenn is saying here. But the thing is, we need follow through. I don't need pretty words from that nigga. I need follow through. If you're talking about abolishing NATO, do that shit. If you're not going to do it, then shut the fuck up. Honestly, that's how I feel. And that goes for if it was a Democrat or Republican, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, whoever the fuck it is. That's why I don't believe in electoral politics, because I know none of them are going to do those things. And that's why I personally, when it comes to the culture war, when it comes to I point out things about Donald Trump, just like I point out things about Joe Biden. That's what I do. Y'all know I do this here on the channel. I keep it balanced, But, like, if you're not actually going to free Julian Assange, if you're not actually going to pull us out of these wars, if you're not actually going to do the thing, be anti-war, then shut the fuck up. That's simply how I feel. You can say everything because it's leading people astray, if you ask me. Because I have Trump supporters that walk up to me all the time saying that he's anti-war, and I have to break their spirits about that. Because it's like, and the funniest thing is when they say he brought peace to the Middle East. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life, bro. The funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. It's like, you mean like by giving Israel everything they fucking wanted? That's what you call like basically saying, hey, fuck Syria, fuck the Palestinians. I'm going to give Israel that's what you call peace in the Middle East. I'm going to stage I'm going to let my son-in-law stage a political row against Qatar so he could get a favor from the Qatari government. Like that's peace in it. Okay. So like it's retarded. Like when I hear it's asinine. Like this is shit Richard Medhurst has talked about. I've talked about it here on my channel. Like it's crazy. So while I agree with the spirit of what Glenn is saying, for me, I'm about action. I need action. I don't want your pretty words. That's
you're
where
right
I'm at.
that the establishment wings of both parties are
If that's
far
the
more
case,
in
we should be
agreement
okay with
one
AOC.
another than they are different.
According to Glenn's logic.
And I think you're also right that as long as those two wings of each party continue to trade power, the ruling class in the United States is very happy.
So I don't like there's things on it, but yeah, so that's kind of where the exchange ended between
there has
Nick
been a radical change in the
and that
composition.
guy. Kim didn't even engage him, so I'm like, okay, like I see that a lot. I see that a lot. And here, oh yeah, this Turncoat Don guy, he posted this as well. So the American people do not want war with Russia, but NATO and our own foolish leaders are dragging us into one, a war that no one will win. Escalation over Ukraine, a non-member nation, risking nuclear war is a power play endangering the entire world. We should pull out of NATO. I agree with her. And then obviously she said, everywhere I go on Main Street, American people say our federal government is failing us. No one says we must go to war with Russia. No one. The only people wanting war with Russia and Ukraine are those who make money off of it, funded by the American taxpayers who don't. And obviously you see AOC, as Ukraine fights against the Russian invasion, we have a moral obligation to assist any way we can. The Ukraine Comprehensive Debt Payment Relief Act would work to support the immediate suspension of Ukraine's debt payments, help coordinate comprehensive debt relief, and more. Obviously, and you see the stark contrast. The problem with that is pretty dressing words, because it doesn't acknowledge the fact that Donald Trump, prior to Biden, sent them the largest weapons cache that they had ever got. Obama refused to send that many weapons because of escalation. He did not want to escalate with Russia, a nuclear powered country. Donald Trump was pulling out of nuclear agreements with Russia and sending weapons to their hostile neighbor infiltrated by fucking Nazis. Now, do I think Donald Trump knew that? Probably not. I don't think he even knew that. I don't even think he could point out Ukraine on the fucking map, to be completely honest with you. I don't think Obama could either. So I think they're all dumb, except Obama's insidious though. Him and Bill Clinton are insidious as fuck. But still, regardless, the point I'm making is though that you can give me all the pretty words you want. So that's essentially the point that Nick is making here. And let me come to full screen. The point Nick is making is that, Republicans can give you all the pretty words that they want to, but it's about action. If you're not focused on the action, you're no different than the progressives you criticize all day, fondling AOC's ovaries. You're no different than them. That is a fact. And that is what I feel we need to be calling out. This is why I say iron sharpens iron. Kim should go on Revolutionary Blackout Network or vice versa, or have Nick on the show so they can have this debate. Why she hasn't done that, I don't know. Maybe she think Nick is being hostile, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what the fuck ever. But engage with his ideas. This is somebody like, I think Nick is he's one of the best political commentators on YouTube. Nick is fucking fantastic. I think they ignore him because he's a working class black person. Not specifically because he's black, but because he's a working class person, and it's easy to ignore them. And especially previously, their channel was smaller, so it was easy to ignore them. But now, as their channel grows, it's harder to ignore them. It's kind of like the whole Jackson Hinkle effect with Sam Cedar. You think Sam Cedar would have taken that debate if Jackson Hinkle didn't have that rise in subscribers that he had? No. He took it because Jackson started making noise because of his rise in subscribers. Now, do I think I would have preferred somebody like Nick or Robert Durden or any of these, somebody else to debate him? Because I think, although I like Jackson, I think there's problems with Jackson. I'll just say that. But I'm not here to do drama shit and all that. I have a moth. Gosh darn it. My dog is so annoying. So this is why I kept telling my dog to hurry up. I have a moth. It's a moth on set. Somebody killed a moth. Oh my God. But yeah. I would have preferred somebody else to have debated Sam. Did I get the motherfucker? I don't think I got him. He'll be back. I would have preferred somebody else to debate Sam Cedar, especially like seeing the coverage that CJ as well. Compton J. I'm sorry, not CJ. Compton J. I would have liked him. Lucy from Blue Moon Red Wine. She's fucking amazing. Like she eviscerates everybody online, in my opinion. Oh my God, when she goes in on people, she fucking goes in. Lucy goes in. There's a whole slew of people I would want to debate Sam Cedar because I feel like they would eviscerate them, and Sam Cedar ducks those people for a reason. Same thing with Kyle. Why do you think Kyle Kalinske is going on the Vanguard and not Revolutionary Blackout Network? Because he knows he will get exposed. He knows he will get trashed. The Vanguard is not going to trash him the way RBN is going to. And that is just a fact. And Kyle Kalinske doesn't debate. He does debate. He debates conservatives because that appeals to his. Kyle Kalinske does liberal claptrap bullshit now. That's Kyle Kalinske's whole thing. Honestly, looking back, that's what it's always been. So, and he'll try to make it seem like people like me have moved further right. No, nigga, we've moved further left of you. We've moved further left. Not that means anything in terms of, the American context, because we got a whole bunch of niggas like you. But still, regardless. So, but yeah, man. So while the culture war is not like I my whole approach to the culture war is to just disengage. I have my personal beliefs, and Caleb Maupin kind of has a way of doing this as well, where don't make these things about identity. Like Caleb has his opinion, like he's pro-choice, he's pro-gay marriage and things like that. But at the same time, he's willing to work with people that aren't. Caleb goes out and works with people that are pro-life. It goes out and works with people that aren't necessarily in favor of gay marriage, things like that. Because at the end of the day, we need to be trying to form solidarity, like have Americans form solidarity, not further divide them. And that's all liberals are interested in doing. So I don't know, man. But I just thought I think Kim should definitely engage with somebody who has legit criticism, like Nick, somebody who has legit criticisms of her. And I'm sure she would have legit criticisms of him. I don't know. I haven't heard her because she never responds to him. I've seen him respond to her a couple times, and she ducks him specifically. Like I see them respond, like people like even Jackson does this too. Like I've brought this up on the stream before. Jackson will fucking respond to somebody, the dumbest person. I like to call it the Steven Crowder effect. And I promise you guys, I'm not going majority report. I'm not here. I'm not going to start doing like Crowder segments every 5 minutes. I promise you. But the reason why I'm bringing him up is because if you watch his whole where he writes on the change my mind segments and everything like that, you can clearly tell he's targeting a certain demographic when he goes and sets up at certain places. Why not just go on and debate a Caleb Maupin? Why not just bring Caleb Maupin on your show, or bring Richard Wolff on your show? I kind of respect Lex Friedman for bringing Professor Wolff on his show. I respect him for that. Even though I disagree with Lex on certain things, I respect him for bringing Richard Wolff on because a lot of people will duck him. I hope that opens the door for Joe Rogan to bring Professor Wolff on. Or chair a debate between Professor Wolff and Jordan Peterson, because Jordan Peterson been ducking that fade with Professor Wolff, bro. That's what Jordan Peterson been ducking that fade. Like Jordan Peterson be talking all this shit about Marxism, but he be ducking fades with people that actually know what the fuck they're talking about. So again, iron sharpens iron, in my opinion. But like, you know, Jackson would pick and choose his fights. Like, okay, you'll go on and have the conversation with Craig with Pasta, which Pasta's cool. Pasta, I feel like Pasta did a good job debating him, but he knows damn well. I look, like I said, Jackson is Jackson. I watch Jackson shows still here and there. I can say I like Jackson. Bruh, why are you not debating Fiorella? Well, you know why you're not debating Fiorella. And I'm not trying to get into the whole debate me, bro thing, but let's keep it a bean. Like, it's a reason, like, and then on top of that, why didn't you you had to do it through Jimmy Dore? Why not just go on their fucking show or bring them on yours? Like, he brought on Kim Iverson, he brings on General, I think his name is what the fuck is that general's name that's speaking out against the Ukraine shit? I forgot what it is. I think it's MacArthur. No, not MacArthur. I forget what the guy's name is, but he brought on that general. If Jimmy Dore would come on the show, he would bring him on. He brings on all these people, but when there's people that have disagreements with him and actually like are well-researched people like Fiorella, people like Franco. He's been ducking Franco too. Shouts out to Franco. I fucking love Franco, bro. Franco don't even be like on some shit. Franco just be popping his shit and niggas just be dugging him. Franco's the GOAT, dog. I gotta get him back on the show soon. But he been ducking Franco. Like, nigga, like, what? And then like he'll make these grand declarations on his channel about, oh, this is, this what I say is what it is. Nobody can disprove me. I've debated everybody about it. It's like, but you like didn't fight X, Y, and Z it's like the boxer that wins the champion. It's like Rocky 2, or what was it? Rocky 3, the one with Clubber Lang. Like how Mick was purposely like not allowing Rocky to fight Clubber Lang because Rocky would get his ass whooped. Like it's that kind of. It's kind of that. It's like, all right, but you're making these grand declarations, but bro, you ducking the best niggas. To me, it shouldn't even be a debate between him and Franco, or a debate between him and Fiorella. I think it would be like kind of like a conversation that that him and Pasta had. I thought that was a fruitful conversation. Like, I kind of respect him for at least doing it on Jimmy's show, but it's like, why not go on their shows, or you have them on yours where y'all can do it longer form and really hash out these ideas. These are things that need to be talked about. Same thing with Lucy from Blue Moon Red Wine. Like, she had some valid criticisms of him. Like, she criticizes him, like, not all the time, but like whenever he posts something and she disagrees, she voices her opinion. Never a response. Never a response. Ever. And it's like, wow, that's weird. And like, I used to be just that nigga that's like, oh, that's weird. But then I turn, because like, I'm not trying to turn into that nigga that's like, yo, Jackson Hinkle not doing X, Y, and Z, or this political YouTuber's not doing X, Y, and Z. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here for the drama. I want y'all, the reason why I'm pushing you and want you to do this is so the conversation can be had, so we can inform people. That's the fucking point of us being here, to inform people, not to entertain people. We're here to inform people. At least that's what I'm here for. To do my best at that, and at least give y'all a little bit of entertainment as well, just with my personality. Like, my personality is my personality. So y'all find it entertaining, cool. I don't know. This is just me. This is how you can ask Josh. This is how I talk. This is me. So like that, and that's where it's just like, and it gives me like, it's very like eyebrow raising. It's like, okay, I see the type of nigga you is, bro. All right, bet. and I move accordingly. Like that, and that's how it's been. Because it's like, bro, why are you ducking these people? That's how it comes off. It comes off like you're ducking. Honestly. So let me know if I'm tripping in the comments or whatever. This isn't a fuck Jackson Hinkle segment at all. This is not that at all. This is a like we need to be doing better in terms of informing our audiences. Like we're here to inform them, not entertain them. Like, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I still watch Jackson's show. I think he does good work. Like I said, his coverage on Ukraine has been phenomenal. His coverage on Ukraine has been phenomenal. It's just little things. You feel me? I feel like he gets caught up in the world. And he's a younger guy. I think he's younger than me. Like I'm 25. This nigga was like born. I think he's like 20 or 21 or something like that. So I get it. Like when they're young cats, that's how he is. Like I probably would have been the same way if I had his YouTube fame at that age. I would probably have been the same fucking way. Probably not though, because my personality, like that's not me, honestly. So I usually don't get caught up in that type of shit. Like, because back in high school, when I was in high school and shit like that, I used to like when you're a kid, when you're in high school, you're younger, that's how you get caught up in shit. But regardless, so that's where I'm gonna leave that. I'm trying to think what else I can talk about tonight. I feel like just talking and rambling. I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there because I am kind of getting tired. I'm ready to go to sleep. But this is a short. I had a 3-day work week this week because of the So we had 4th of July off, and we had the day after, so that Tuesday. So I literally only worked Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But oh my god, we were fucking slammed, dude. And my coworker was on vacation and everything, so we got fucking slammed. It's hot as shit in the warehouse I work at. I'm fat as fuck. I'm sweating my ass off. Oh my god. But we got through it. Me and my coworker powered through it. So we got through it. I'm just like ready to hit the hay right now. But at the same time, I want to keep talking shit. I want to keep talking political shit. I don't know, man. Politics is a weird game. Politics is a weird game. And I say weird game because unfortunately that's what it's been rendered to be, a game where politics is people's real lives, man. Like I started talking politics because I deeply cared about these issues. I deeply care about imperialism, I deeply care about the economic liberation of the working class. Like I deeply care about I'm part of that class. I'm the working class. So I don't know, man. Sometimes I get disillusioned with politics. I get very pessimistic. I'm just like, fuck it. I ain't gonna fraud to y'all. Like I literally deleted all my stuff. I was about to quit the channel like 2 days ago. I was about to make an announcement and let y'all know I'm quitting the channel. I almost quit, bro, because it's like I just see like this shit isn't going anywhere, bro. I'm like, fuck it. I'm about to just quit this channel, stack my bread, go grow my garden, fucking move out of the United States, the fuck out of here. It's just like the United States is a fucking shithole, bro. And it's about to get worse. It's about to get worse. And it's like we arguing over dumb shit. that's really why I want to talk about that culture war shit. Like, nigga, like, especially me as a worker, bro. Me as a worker. I'm like, bro, like, I can barely afford to put gas in my tank. And it's like when I log on to Twitter or I log into YouTube and try to hear, like, I want to listen to the voices that are supposed to be speaking to the working class. And I hear y'all like arguing over like pronouns and shit and trans issues, bruh. Fuck out my face, dog. The fuck out my face. That's genuinely how I feel about culture war, people. Fuck out my face on both sides. Fuck out of here. Like, bye. So I've been so tight, bro, about this abortion shit. Like the way these, like, yo, I know I keep saying this, but imagine if we put the energy behind that they put behind abortion. Imagine if we put that behind Medicare for all, or we put that behind a living wage, or we put that behind the nationalization of the energy sector, all of these different things. We put that behind, put whatever it is. universal, childcare, universal childcare, free childcare, like all of these things that would actually help and benefit. Like what would arguing over, like, it's almost like these people are saying, what would arguing over trans issues do for your family? Not a fucking thing, nigga. That's why I don't care. I don't care. And I don't have a family. I'm a single guy. I'm lucky for that. They keep saying, like, why do the millennials and Gen Z and blah blah blah, they're not having kids, our birth rate. Nigga, we can't afford to have these little niggas, bro. Bro, like, I'm glad I don't have a little man. I'm telling you right now, if I like smash a chick and I got her pregnant and she, abortion is on the table because I can't afford that little nigga. And no, if that happened to me as a father, of course, like, I'm going ham, leveling up, doing what I got to do to provide for my little man or my daughter, whatever, whatever it would be. But it's like, the reason why we're not having kids because we can't afford that shit, bruh. Man. Shit crazy, bruh. And it's like, that's why I made that turn towards leaning more towards socialism and Marxism and communism and all that. And because, like, when you look at these countries, you see the living standards go up. And these, even countries that are like under the heel of imperialism, it's like these niggas are providing for their people, man. They're changing the living standards of their people. And it's like, it's, in these countries, obviously, like in countries like Venezuela and things like that, like, they still have their problems. And most of that stems from the imperialism, of course. But it's like, at least they're attempting to address these things. And in some ways, successful in addressing those things. Our government is outright saying, fuck y'all. And we have a segment of the population that was like, yeah, fuck us. Rich people, woo. You have another segment that's like, yeah, we fucking hate rich people, but we're for all of their policies, like secretly for all of their policies. Then you have like another faction that's just like apolitical. They're just tuned out. Niggas don't got time. They got to work. And then you got niggas like me that's just sitting back looking at all of it like, oh shit, bro. What? We are in a clown show right now, bro. So, and it's crazy to watch, man, especially this Ukraine thing, like the whole situation in Ukraine. Like, I was just talking to Josh, like I kind of mentioned it to him. Like, Biden just approved $400 million to go to Ukraine. $400 million, bro. Nigga, can I just get $1 million? Nigga, can I get a jiggy-ling? I think that's what Chris Rock said in New Jack City. Can I get a jiggy-ling? Oh, okay. But nah, man, like, you can't even take care of your own fucking people, and you going overseas to help somebody else, bro. Fuck. I swear to God, anybody tell me to vote for, like, anybody, the canvas people, the Democratic canvas people, would you vote for Joe? Suck my dick. I'm saying that every time they call me. Every fucking time. In 2020, the only Democrat I voted for was the person that was running to get Chris Coons out, because I fucking hate Chris Coons. Chris Coons is a fucking warmongering piece of shit. You see what he's doing right now. He was the one that was advocating. He's my senator from Delaware. He holds Biden's Senate chair that Biden previously had, advocating for boots on the ground in Ukraine. Like, nigga, are you out of your fucking mind, bro? So I voted for Jessica Skarain. She was the person that ran against him. She lost. That was the only Democrat I voted for. But I had a long ass conversation with a person, a caller that was calling for her. I had a long conversation with this nigga because he didn't know he called into the right one. He called to the right one. And I told him how I felt. I was like, it seems like, once you get these progressives in the office, they get co-opted. Look at AOC, look at Ilhan Omar, boo, 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 all that. Like, I spit my shit that I be spitting here on the channel. He couldn't disagree with me. He was like, you know what? You're right, but I think Jess will be different. I'm like, how? I need tangibles. Explain to me how she's different, how she's going to be different. And he was kind of stuck, honestly. But I voted for her. I wouldn't have voted for her, but everything else, I voted third party. Write-ins, independent, whatever. And then obviously for president, I voted for Howie Hawkins, which ding, ding, ding. That once I found out about the Green Party, that's when I'm like, I'm never voting. I'm never voting. Ever. Voted for the first time. I went and voted with my aunt. Voted for the first time. Waited in that long ass line just to find out that this nigga rigged his own fucking election. Howie Hawkins. They rigged their own fucking election just so he could run like somebody who's vanilla and boring, like Howie Hawkins. Like, no, and I'm sure Howie Hawkins has done some great work back in the day. I'm sure. But when you're walking around rigging your own election, when you're walking around repeating State Department talking points when it comes to imperialist foreign policy issues, like basically when you're still sounding like the fucking Democrat, what is the fucking point of you? And now we're having that drama down in North Carolina with that guy running. I forgot what his name is. I know his last name is Ho. But yeah, man. I'm probably going to talk about that tomorrow. Shit is crazy. Shit is definitely crazy. Like, we got a nigga that can't even say his name once in office right now. And like everybody, like you have one half of the country that's defending him or pretending to, because all those polls coming out now saying that like most of his own fucking party wants him gone. But then you have the other half of the country and the other half of the political aisle that like wants the other guy in who's basically doing the same shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just like, where do we go politically? That's where I say we need to be focusing on solidarity with each other. I know we got our divides, and I feel like we can work through these things. Just like we gotta stay away from culture war issues, of course, where we can. But Robert Durden put out this tweet earlier. He's another guy I would want to have on the show. I fuck with Robert. He put out this tweet that I thought was like perfect. Perfect. I gotta find it first though. Pretty sure I liked it. Yeah, Robert Durden. He does this. He's been doing this series of reading Michael Parenti's Black Shirts and Reds that I've like been fucking loving. I'm just gonna type the name in. I thought I liked the tweet. Hey, this is Robert Durden. He hosts Political Fight Club as well. I thought I should throw that in there. Shocking video. Yo, he just, bruh, this is exactly what I'll be talking about. Let me share my screen. This is exactly what I'll be talking about. Now, in no way, shape, or form, you got to say this to motherfuckers sometimes because you know how motherfuckers be. But I'm not promote like I told you earlier. I've completely changed my tune on the Green New Deal because I realized it was just the Green New Corporate deal. It was the Green New Degrowth deal. But however, that being said, I don't want to deregulate these oil companies. And by the way, this is the military that's doing this. I covered this story previously. Breaking shocking video from Civil Beat. Shocking video from Civil Beat shows jet fuel leaking from the Navy's Red Hill storage tanks in Hawaii. This is just above an aquifer that provides water to 90,000 people. And look at this shit. That's jet fuel. So, a libertarian will look at that and say, see, this is why government is ineffective. I look at that and say, if that's the military doing that, imagine what the corporations would do. I covered the Colonial Pipeline story here. Like how we have all these pipelines under the country. You know, Obama was, partly responsible for that, as he likes to say, which cool. We need, like I said, we need fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is how everything runs. But we saw how we had the largest gas spill from that pipeline ever. And because of them not maintaining the relaxation of regulations that led to this pipeline spill. So I get that we need to ease, and this is also a debate that Jamal Thomas and Scotty Nell Hughes was having on Fault Lines, where they were bringing this up. How, like, you know, they put a lot of red tape around certain arenas, you know, when it comes to the energy sector. And I'm like, all right, fine. Remove, like, we should all have, this is why I think we should have direct democracy, to where we can actually hash these things out. And direct democracy in the term of what's the guy who passed away? The senator that passed away. I always forget his fucking name. I gotta look it up, guys. Give me 1 second. I always forget his name. God. I will find this. Mike Gravel. I always forget his name. Mike Gravel. But direct democracy, akin to what Mike Gravel was talking about, go check out my past Talks Talk videos that I had with the March for Medicare for All people. And we had, I forget what her name is. I'm so sorry, but she came on. I'm saying she because I forgot what her name was. At this point, it's been a while since I've had her on. I was like, oh my god, it was long ago. But you know, they broke down what the whole direct democracy thing was. So, you know, go check that out. But you know, we had the largest gas spill, pipeline spill with the Colonial Pipeline. And like, most Americans don't fucking know about this. Like, there are sectors of the energy sector that are deregulated or that are uniformly deregulated, and there are arenas where it's overregulated. Of course, I see that and I agree with that. Those are the patches we need to fill out and fix. But instead of making these blanket statements, we need to get into the minutia of what that looks like. And we're not having those conversations. It's just people are just throwing blanket statements around on both sides. And I feel like that's where the divide comes from. You feel me? Like I said, I'm a person, I do believe that, you know, we need to be looking at the effects fossil fuels are having on here, but that doesn't mean you need to go out here and like basically starve the world. Like, literally, like if you're pushing the Green New Deal at this point, like as of right now in this moment, and especially the corporate Green New Deal, if you're pushing that shit right now in the moment we're in right now, you are doing the bidding of the elite class. You are a degrowther. You are a Malthusianist. I agree. Daniel Burke talks about that all the time. You prove him right every time. Daniel Burke does amazing work. I like what LaRouche is doing, because I feel like they talk a lot about us, about the United States and the West getting involved with China in terms of the Belt and Road Initiative. I think that's a good thing. I think that's positive globalism, because of course, you know, you've had conservatives that took globalism and made it a bad thing. China's a globalist country, and they've navigated, you know, the current affairs to benefit their country. The United States navigated their affairs to benefit their ruling class. There's a difference. And again, the blanket statements, you know, getting into the minutia of that is not a conversation, are not conversations that are being had. We should be either joining the Belt and Road Initiative or taking that $40 billion and way more than that. I would say what Bernie Sanders was proposing, the $14 trillion and possibly more, especially given, you know, some of the merit of truths to MMT, to modern money theory, and invest in infrastructure first in the United States, and converting our infrastructure, putting people to work with a jobs program, rebuilding the country, and then summarily, I think, in my opinion, relieving some of these monopolized institutions in terms of the important sectors like food, energy, and things like that, and bringing the production, you know, as much as we can back here to the United States, trying to be doing that wholesale. So that's what I think we should be doing. That's a conversation that's never had, though, because whenever you get people, especially conservatives and libertarians, when they talk about these things, they want to find that balance of still fucking over workers. They want to find that balance of still keeping up their margins and profit lines, while at the same time, you know, on the flip side, saying fuck China, things like that. So they want to be able to do free trade with China. They just want to do it at China's expense. They want China to get fucked over in those deals, and China's like, no, fuck that. Oh, so yeah, that's what I think we should be doing, personally. But Robert Durden put out this tweet though. I found that interesting. He took me on a whole nother tangent. I'm on hour 3, guys. This is the last thing, by the way. This is the last thing I'm going to show you guys, and I'm about to head on the bed. Wow. He retweeted this too. Priti Patel is reportedly in the running to replace Boris Johnson as conservative leader and therefore prime minister. This could be very bad news for British journalists. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. So she was the one that signed off. If you guys watched my coverage, she was the one that signed off on Julian Assange's extradition to the United States. So she's a company woman. She's a company woman. I'm trying to find the tweet he put out earlier, because I think this is very important to be talking about right now. I'm like liking and retweeting shit so I could remember. Yeah, I guess nobody wanted to come on and talk to me, guys. Fuck you guys then. It's like, nah, I love you guys. Don't forget this, like I said, if anybody hops on, I'll still talk. The link to the stream is down below. So let me know. Let me know. Oh, let me know. Let me know. You know I'm tired when I start singing badly. Bro, Thank Me Later is my favorite Drake project. I know that was just random as fuck, but Thank Me Later is my favorite Drake project. They gave out beers to the protesters in Amsterdam. That's lit. Like, Europe is in full political instability right now. It's kind of crazy to see. Damn, I can't find this tweet from him. Here it is. This is beautiful, bro. This is beautiful. Robert Durden said, let me pull it up even more. He said, learn, and I commented on this, but he said, learn to grow your own food, fix your own car / home, cook your own meals, and care about your neighbor again. Teach other people in your community these things and learn what you can from them. This is the only way out of this mess we're in. We need to cooperate and evolve together. In other words, I took that as him saying we need to be divesting from the system. The only way you are going to make effective change, the only way you're going to push the Overton window in your direction is by doing this. You're not going to do it by voting for fucking Democrats. You're not going to do it for voting for progressive Democrats. You're not going to do it by donating to TYT as much as they would like you to donate to them. You're going to do it by hitting the bastards in their fucking pockets. So hitting the pockets of the donors of TYT. Yeah, and divesting from the system. That's just what it is. Unfortunately, that term, divest from the system, has been turned into a slang, a dirty word. Basically, when you say that, they think you're like some like doomer, prepper, conspiracy theorist or whatever. Which I go by Eva Bartlett's term. I think she calls her reality conspiracist or something like that. What is her Telegram? I don't have Telegram on my phone right now. But yeah, but guys, since I see nobody's hopping in, I'm going to go ahead and call it and bid you guys adieu. Yeah, my eyes are droopy right now, as you guys can see. I'm tired. I'm kind of I'm doing that. So guys, thank you for tuning in. Another long stream, man. I think the longest I did was that 4-hour when I did the other day. So lit. I love the long streams, guys. It's fire. Almost like a radio show. Like that's one of my goals. Like ever since I've been listening to Fault Lines and seeing Jamal Thomas on there, and I'm like, yo, look, I love Jamal. I'm saying this. This is completely a joke when I say this. I think Jamal is dope, but I'm better than that nigga. I could take that nigga's job on God. Now that's me joking when I say that. I'm proud of. I'm proud of what that brother's doing on there. Him, Garland, Nixon. It's good to hear black voices in that type of space. The anti-imperialist space and things like that on Sputnik. It's really dope to hear that, and it's dope that they're elevating those voices, whereas the United States stifles those voices. They only elevate those voices when they're pro-Democrat. So, but that I would love to have my own radio show. I think I could pull it off and do it too. I really think I could, guys. I just literally talked to you for a whole nother hour after Josh got off, so I really think I could pull it off. But regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and close the stream out there, guys. Thank you for tuning in. As always, like, subscribe, and share this stream. Share this stream. Emphasis on all that. Go swing by the Patreon. I want to try to finish up my article tomorrow and possibly post it tomorrow as well. So look out for that, guys. And while you're over there at the Patreon, checking out the extra bonus content, I have some UFO or one, a UFO video there and a couple other bonus videos there. I have a bonus video with Franco there as well, too, I believe. Go check that out. There's nothing behind the paywall there, but a contribution would be greatly appreciated if you guys can manage it. You can also do a contribution to the channel via Cash App. All that stuff is down below. So if you guys can, it would be greatly appreciated to go check that stuff out and leave a contribution if you can. You guys tuning in, showing me love, payment enough. I appreciate it. I love that you guys stick around and listen to me talk my shit. So, but if you can, like I said, contributions are welcome. And yeah. What else? Like I said, I'm going to try to be back here on stream tomorrow. I will also try to post my first article on my Patreon tomorrow. I think I want to post. I'm going to try 4 articles, and because I was thinking about starting a Substack, but I'm like, why would I do that when I could just write stuff on Patreon for now, just to get my feet wet, blah blah blah. So I don't know, and I don't even know if I'll be good at writing. So we'll see. But yeah, so all that, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a blast. Peace. Be easy.